is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Arizona.
The National League West lead resides right here in the Valley. The first place Arizona Diamondbacks, a packed Chase Field tonight for the second of a three-game set against the rival San Francisco Giants. The roof and panels closed here, hot outside, even hotter inside in terms of the NL West race. The Diamondbacks at 35-26, now 3.5 games clear of these Giants, 2.5 ahead of Colorado in the race for the NL West. Good evening from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brentley along the way. These red-hot Arizona Diamondbacks set to play Game 2 of this three-game set against the Giants. And, BB, last night the D-backs stole another close game against these guys. They were able to bring the want late. But in a large way, I think that the victory was due because of the fact they were able to hang in there for most of a very close game with some patience and some persistence.
You know, when Kevin Towers reassembled this team in the offseason, they had a very specific kind of player that they were looking for. You can call it grit, you can call it persistence, you can call it want.
Nice.
Whatever word you want to tack onto it, this Diamondbacks team is abundantly gifted with those kind of players, none more so than Paul Goldschmidt. His game last night was a perfect example of what the Diamondbacks are all about this year. His first three ABs in the game were not really good. Grounded out to short with runners on base twice, 2 double plays. Came up for his third at bat in the ball game. Hoping for better results. Unfortunately, goes down swinging at a nasty slider. But that's not the end of his day. He continues to push. He continues to grind. He knows he's going to get another plate appearance in the game. And that's not a unique situation for Goldie. It just happened on the last road trip against the Cubs. Jeff Samardzija on top of his game early, struck out Goldie his first 3 trips to the plate in that ball game. A lot of ball players would have gone back to the dugout, hang their heads, feel sorry for themselves. We'll get him tomorrow. Not Paul Goldschmidt. He hits a grand slam against Carlos Marmol. Just a perfect example of the persistence, the grit, the want, never say die attitude that this Diamondbacks team has.
And it was a great moment here last night when Goldie hit that home run because everyone in the ballpark got the sense that you're watching a special team having a special season with an MVP caliber player as the center of attention. When we come back here, we've got a team full of all-stars. One of them should be Gerardo Parra. One problem, he's not on the all-star ballot. So the write-in campaign continues for the Diamondbacks right fielder. More from Chase Field on the way. You're watching the Arizona Diamondbacks. Brought to you in part by the UPS Store. Flyers, business cards, brochures, and more. We can print that. And by George Brazil. George Brazil guarantees the lowest price on a new AC system. Call George today.
And we are moments away from first pitch here at Chase Field. The D-backs in game 2 of this very short 3-game homestand against the reigning world champion Giants. We saw last night why Paul Goldschmidt deserves to be an all-star. Patrick Corbin, a perfect 9-0. He deserves to be there as well. But it's a travesty that Gerardo Parra, the outstanding outfielder for the Diamondbacks, isn't even on the ballot. That has to change. So I asked Goldie if he would act as G's campaign manager.
I don't think he needs one. He's playing, so well all year. He can do it all. I mean, he's really played well ever since he's been up with the Diamondbacks, and he's getting an opportunity this year. He's really taking advantage of it. Gold Glove defense, we already know about that, and really been a spark plug at the top of the lineup. So it's fun to watch, and he's a great teammate as well. He always keeps it loose in the clubhouse, and he brings a lot of energy every day. So you can't ask for more out of any player.
That was our Geico quote of the game. And hey, we've got to get Parra there at the All-Star game, and here's how you can do it. Log on to MLB.com. He's a write-in candidate, so it would be great to have that trio of D-backs back there for the Midsummer Classic. G, as well as Patrick Corbin. And Goldie deserves to be there as well. Hey, last night, a dramatic come-from-behind win, a 3-run homer from Goldie. Let's do it again. It's the D-backs and Giants next, right here on Fox Sports AZ.
At a good time. San Francisco has lost 7 of its last 10 overall, 12 of its last 19, and 8 of its last 10 on the road. This is the lineup tonight at Chase Field.
Pretty much the same way they ran him out there last night for the Giants. Brandon Belt, a guy that's really beaten up on the D-backs in the past. You got to really keep that ball away from him. Madison Bumgarner down in that 9 spot, a pretty good hitter for a pitcher.
Trevor Cahill in the Saturday Blacks, a 3.27 ERA, 21st in the league, 67 hits allowed in 77 innings, a whip that is right about league average, 33rd among National League starters. Trevor has alternated wins and losses over his last 10 starts, 5 wins, 5 losses over that span, one after the other every time. But the ERA in those 10 games only 2.85, so he has mostly, Bob, pitched pretty well.
Yeah, for the most part, he's been pretty good. Occasionally, he'll lose command of that sinker, have trouble finding the strike zone. But when he's working in the zone, and it doesn't have to be on the corners, just in the zone. He gets a lot of ground balls, a lot of easy outs, gets his team back in that dugout swinging the bats.
Gregor Blanco leads it off for the Giants. Big crowd here tonight at Chase Field, expecting 40,000 plus, and it looks to be right at that. Diamondbacks have won 5 of their last 7. The first place Diamondbacks beginning today, leading the NL West by 2.5 over the Rockies, 3.5 ahead of these Giants. That's on a play. Colorado hosting the Padres this afternoon at Coors Field, and right now the Rockies are trailing San Diego 4-2 in the ninth. So this is all lined up here, Bob, for more Diamondback domination on top of that division.
Absolutely. Although we don't take anything for granted at Coors Field. If you've got outs left, you've still got a chance. We know that for a fact.
Blanco drove in the only Giants run of the game last night with an RBI single in the 7th. He was 1 for 4, including a strikeout against Heath Bell to win the game. That is Mark Ripperger. He is the second base umpire tonight. You may recall Jerry Lane, who was working the bases last night, had to leave early in the game after aggravating a rib injury. So Jerry Lane is not here. He's getting treatment. Greg Gibson has the plate. Ripperger in Lane's place on this crew at second base. It's run full to the first hitter, Gregor Blanco.
And that's good news on Jerry Lane. I mean, obviously, we don't want him to re-injure an existing boo-boo, but boy, what it looked like as he walked off the field was scary. Blanco can't believe it. A lot of movement on that comeback sinker.
1 strikeout for Trevor Cahill. A good start.
Brandon Webbish right there with that sinker. Starts it off the inside corner, tails it back to the corner. I think the reason a lot of left-handed hitters argue with the umpires on that particular pitch, they can't believe it moves that much. You could clearly see Blanco rather thought that ball was going to be inside off the plate, lifted his hands, backed off the dish. A lot of late movement.
I think I just saw Miguel Montero having a little conversation about just that with Greg Gibson back there. There's another strike for Marco Scutaro. Funny thing about that start for Trevor here, his last start Monday at St. Louis, that 7-1 Cardinals win. Cahill allowed 5 runs on 9 hits in 5 innings. He walked 3 and did not record a strikeout in that game. It was the first time all season he didn't have a strikeout. And 1 batter into this one, he's got a strikeout. It was also the first time in 29 straight starts dating back to last June 27th that Cahill allowed more than 4 earned runs. And he's ahead here on Scutaro. Trevor said the issue in his last start at Busch Stadium was just falling behind a lot. He said he felt like he was behind in the count the whole game, and a couple of times he was ahead of the hitters, he just was not able to put them away. 2-2. Kurt Gibson said the issue with Cahill, as much as Trevor said, was command last time, and that will be the storyline tonight. Can he command that 2-seam sinking fastball, throw it 4 strikes? 91 pitches last time, only 53 for strikes, and Gibby said he just has to execute better and keep that ball down. Right back at you. Defensively, the Diamondbacks look as such. Willie Bloomquist back out there, Bob, at second base.
And he's been doing a fine job. We know he's been swinging the bat well since coming back off the DL, but really moving well at second base, also covering a lot of ground on that right side.
Course of boos for Buster Posey. He was 0 for 4 last night in the series opener. 296, 7 homers, and 31 RBIs. And they are really letting him have it here. D-back Nation.
I'll tell you, there's a lot of energy in the joint tonight. We had Giants fans chanting, about an hour before game time, "Let's go Giants." The D-backs fans initially booed, and then they started chanting, "Let's go D-backs." This place is ready to rock tonight.
Even the upper sections in the far left and right field corners are almost full. It is a packed house at Chase Field. Up the middle, Didi Gregorius. And it's a 1-2-3 first. An excellent start for Trevor Cahill. Bottom one coming up. Under Kirk Gibson, Giants have gone 8-14. As a result, the D-backs have opened up a 3.5 game gap over the Giants atop the NL West. Diamondbacks batting order tonight brought to you by Scottsdale Healthcare.
Well, the big change, obviously, Willie Bloomquist sliding up into that leadoff spot, 11 for 20 since coming back off the DL, getting on base at a 600 clip. Seems like a pretty good idea to put Willie at the top of the order. A.J. Pollock has filled that role admirably from time to time. Gerardo Parra has done an outstanding job as the leadoff hitter. A little bit of a different look tonight for Kirk Gibson.
Those left-handed hitters at the bottom of the order up against Madison Bumgarner for the Giants. The lefty whip is walks plus hits divided by innings pitched. It measures how many base runners a pitcher allows. A 1-0 whip is outstanding. Bumgarner at 105, 10th best in the league.
Yeah, he's pretty good. Bruce Bochy suffered through a lot of inconsistencies in his starting rotation, which is something new for the San Francisco Giants. But Bumgarner's probably been their best from opening day until this start tonight.
Current D-backs roster is hitting 197 and 117 at bats against Madison Bumgarner with 25 strikeouts. Willie Bloomquist will lead it off. Willie 11 for 20 to begin his season following the long delay with that oblique tear suffered in spring training. Eric Chavez currently on the DL with the same injury suffered in Texas on the last road trip. Last night was the first game in which Willie did not get a hit this year, but he was on base twice. A couple of walks, he scored a run. Pretty good numbers against Madison Bumgarner career.
Now, Bumgarner and Trevor Cahill have something else in common other than the fact they're facing each other tonight. They both got beat by the Cardinals last time out. We just came from St. Louis, and we know what that offense can do when they start hitting on all cylinders. Bumgarner went 6 innings, gave up 6 hits, and 5 earned runs in that game against the Cardinals.
2-2. Yeah, through 94 pitches in that start last Saturday. First time in 7 starts that Bumgarner did not go over the 100 pitch mark. As high for the season as 115. He's done that twice so far. He misses there. It's full 3-2.
Bumgarner has the typical 4 pitches: a fastball, slider, changeup, curveball in that order of frequency, and he mixes them up really well. Doesn't necessarily rely on his fastball when he's behind in the count. One of the things that makes him so tough.
Pablo Sandoval at third. Takes a base hit away from Willie Bloomquist.
Toe-to-toe range down there at third base for Pablo Sandoval. Dives to his left that time, makes a nice play. Ball was hit so hard he had plenty of time to get to his feet and throw across in time for the out.
A.J. Pollock. A.J. 269, 5 home runs and 20 RBIs. He was 1 for 3 last night with a single and scored a run. This is just A.J.'s third start this season, batting second in the order, and they may want to do more of it. He was 6 for 10 with 3 home runs in his 2 previous starts in the 2-hole.
Let me tell you something. There is a laundry list of hitters in the National League that would pay money to hit in front of Paul Goldschmidt. I'd want to hit in that 2 spot. Oh, man, talk about protection in a lineup.
Bumgarner ran it full to Bloomquist, and now he's behind here, 3-1 to A.J. Pollock. Madison Bumgarner, big guy, 6'5", 235, just 23 years old, turns 24 in August. Struck him out, 2 down. What a night it was last night. Paul Goldschmidt with what turned out to be the game winner.
And look at the reaction of his teammates, of his manager. They couldn't be happier for Paul Goldschmidt right now.
The National League's RBI leader, Paul Goldschmidt, 3 more last night. His 15th home run of the season, tied for 3rd. He's behind Dominic Brown and Cargo. Goldie 332, 15 home runs and 57 RBIs.
Well, not to get too far ahead of ourselves here, but I personally believe Dominic Brown is going to come back down to earth at some time very shortly. And as we know from being in Colorado, Troy Tulowitzki is not really able to play every day the way he has in the past.
That one is absolutely bludgeoned, but fouled. Wow. Goldzilla.
Just amazing the amount of power he's able to generate with that short, quick swing. As fast a hands as you'll see on a power hitter in the game.
High in the air to right. Hunter Pence in front of the pool has it at the track. A 1-2-3 first for Madison Bumgarner. Scoreless through 1. through the whole break because he had a nice sign about the blow dart. He just put it down at the wrong moment.
Just a little bit too soon. You need to bring a stopwatch, time the commercial breaks, and then hold your sign up.
Tyler Skaggs on the mound tomorrow for the Diamondbacks on Bark in the Park Day at Chase Field. 12:30 tomorrow. And it's right back out on the road. 3 against the Dodgers, 3 against the Padres. It'll be dog night here tonight. Woo. Pablo Sandoval leads off the second against Trevor Cahill. Base hit. Boy, this guy can just flat out hit.
It's ridiculous. I mean, he hits strikes hard. He hits balls hard. He hits pitches over his head in the dirt. We saw him break his bat on a pitch he was way out in front of last night. Dunked it into left field for a base hit. Goes down and digs that one out.
So the Pandas aboard to lead off the second. Here is Hunter Pence. 285, 9 home runs, 30 RBIs. He leads the team with 9 home runs, but 8 of those homers have been solo shots. Pence 0 for 4 last night, batting 190 over his last 6 games. He is 4 for his last 21 up there. Got his hockey playoff beard going too as we get ready for the Stanley Cup Finals. Now this is the issue with Trevor Cahill. Command of that 2-seam fastball. It moves so much, and we've talked about this all year long. Sometimes it's just simply hard to throw it for a strike. Catches the corner there, 3-1. Hard to short. Didi deep in the hole, has one play at second. They get the force on the Panda, but Pence is aboard. Gregorius from the grass and shallow left gets one.
Well, to quote Green Day, know your enemy. Didi knew he had enough time, even though he couldn't find the handle on the ball initially. Pablo Sandoval running from first to second. He still got a chance, Gets a strong throw to Willie Bloomquist in time for the force play.
So Trevor Cahill gets a ground ball out. That's the key to success for him. Here's Brandon Belt. 1 for 4 last night. Hunter Pence has 10 stolen bases this year. He has not been caught. A perfect 10 for 10.
Yeah, Brandon Belt trying to beat the shift there. Diamondbacks have a little mini pull shift on. Martin Prado playing well off the line and deep over there in the hole between third and short. And that time Belt was trying to dump one down the third baseline. Bunt for a base hit.
Well, he has really struggled up there. 8 for his last 44. He's batting 182 over his last 15 games. There goes Hunter Pence, swing and a miss. The throw from Montero is not in time. Hunter Pence a perfect 11 for 11 on the year.
It's always a little bit tougher for a catcher to throw out runners on with a sinker ball pitcher on the mound. You talked about that tremendous movement that Cahill gets when that ball gets into the hitting zone, and it's not always easy to square it up in the catcher's mitt either.
Did you see that slide? He just gets those long gangly legs in there at the back of the second base bag. Cahill ahead 0-2. Chases it one at the dirt. Montero looks to second. Completes the strikeout at first. 2 down. Miggy kept a close eye on Hunter Pence down there at second.
Good sinker in the dirt that time, or rather a changeup in the dirt, had Brandon Belt way out in front. And Miggy did exactly the right thing. Block the ball, get to it quickly, make sure that runner at second base is going back toward the bag before you throw to first.
Andres Torres. He was 1 for 4 with a double in the leadoff spot last night. There's a strike, 0-1. Torres 270, couple of home runs, 11 RBIs. Batting .340 over his last 15 games. 13 of those have been starts. He's taken up an everyday role while Angel Pagan was out with a hamstring strain. Pence for third, and it's in there. It rolls into shallow left, and he'll come in and score. 1-0 Giants. Aggressive base running on the part of Hunter Pence has given San Francisco a 1-0 lead.
Well, you just cannot allow any base runner to get that kind of a walking lead and expect to throw him out at the next base. Throw in the dirt to Martin Prado, tried to pick it clean and just could not come up with it. I'm sure that'll go as an error on Miguel Montero since the throw was in the dirt, but good aggressive base running by Hunter Pence this time around.
You're exactly right, Bob. Give Hunter Pence another stolen base. He steals third, scores on the error by the catcher, so a stolen base E2. And now it's a perfect 12 for 12 for Hunter Pence, and the Diamondbacks are down 1-0.
Well, we know the length that the D-backs pitchers go to hold runners over at first base and alter their rhythm to the plate. Same thing should go out there at second base. You've got to make that runner stop. Can't let him have a walking lead.
3-2 to Andres Torres. Brandon Crawford is on deck. Ball 4. Cold Stone. Well, that's good on a day like this.
Oh man, got to eat fast though, which is never a problem for us.
Yeah, we can consume entire meals between innings. Brandon Crawford 0 for 2 last night with a pair of strikeouts, 280 on the year. A career home run total of 5 already. In fact, he hit a total of 7 homers in his first 2 seasons combined, already with 5 this year. Torres so far 2 for 3 in his stolen base attempts. Cahill up to 30 pitches, only 17 for strikes. That's not a recipe for success.
Ooh. Trevor Cahill has the pink slip on Brandon Crawford right now. He owns him.
Boy, this place is packed. I'm looking around up here all the way up to the roof. It is full. Great crowd. D-back Nation, Sedona Red outnumbering the Orange, and by a lot. Diamondback fans supporting their exciting ball club. It's been a great ride so far. Well, I mentioned that. Let me check that Padre Rockies score. And bottom 9, Colorado is batting, trailing San Diego 4-2 at Coors Field. Rockies came into today 2.5 games behind the Diamondbacks for the NL West lead. So if that score holds up, advantage Diamondbacks. 0-2 to Brandon Crawford, keeping Torres close at first. Kirk Gibson doing his thing from the dugout.
Well, a lot of times the number of throws to first depends on the opposing team and how much they like to run the bases. And with the Giants offense struggling the way it has been recently, I got to believe that Bruce Bochy is going to start some runners over there in this game tonight, especially with nobody out or one out in an inning, because if you try to go station to station against Trevor Cahill and he's throwing strikes with that sinker, you're just going to ground into double plays all night long. So see if Bruce Bochy turns some of his runners loose here tonight. He already has with Hunter Pence.
Hard to right. That's a fair ball down the right field line. Torres flying around second. Crawford heads for the second base bag. They will wave in Andres Torres, and he avoids the tag. He's safe. Crawford to third. Montero argues with Greg Gibson at home plate. It's 2-0 Giants. That got deep into that right field corner right in front of the Giant bullpen, and Gerardo Parra had to fish it out of there. And Tim Flannery sent Torres home.
Now Flannery's one of the more aggressive third base coaches in all of baseball. Running right down the line with his runner. Oh man, he's out. Come on. Here we go again.
Let's see. I'm not convinced.
I think he got it.
The first angle. Let's see if we can get the other angle. Madison Bumgarner. That first one, I think, will give us a. That's a really hard call either way.
And then to compound things, Miggy started his argument as the play was still continuing, allowing Brandon Crawford to advance on to third base. They had him halfway between second and third for an easy inning out.
0-2 to Bumgarner. Let's see if he gets. Does he tag him or not? Oh, I saw his jersey move. His jersey moves. The back of his shirt moves.
Didn't get a lot of him, but got enough of him. And everybody out there knows where I stand on replay. But that's a perfect example. I mean, Greg Gibson's got a lot of things to look at there. You got a runner streaking down that third base line. The throws coming from the right field line. The catcher's trying to get into position to block the plate. The sweep tag. The runner sliding wide of the plate. Nearly impossible for a human being to see all of that.
Bumgarner strikes out. Let's take one more look. Does Montero tag him or not? Greg Gibson says no. It's a 2-0 Giants lead. Talking about, we slowed it down, we froze it, and he's right. He did tag him.
And once again, not a big tag, but you can see his uniform move there as the webbing of Miggy's glove caught that left arm reaching for home plate. Just kind of scuffed up the back of his shoulder right there. Boy, that's too bad. That's just too bad.
And we don't show you that to pile on Greg Gibson. Admittedly, that's a really hard call. We had to slow it down, stop at, look at it 3 different ways to try and figure out definitively yes or no. Cody Ross. Cody at 252, couple of home runs, 16 RBIs, really fighting it right now. Cody 3 for his last 27. And you can see all that front leg. He's got all that armor on there. He's gone back to the 2-piece protector, the top part that covers that foot that was broken last year, and then that front cushiony part that pads the shin. And when you add to that the left calf strain that kept him out of spring training, his bottom half is really hurting here. And it seems to have affected his ability to drive and pull the ball.
Pulls that ball with authority, unfortunately foul down that third baseline. You know, for the Giants, this has to feel like a smorgasbord of offense. They are averaging 1.3 runs per game so far in the month of June. Already scored 2 here tonight.
You think that's another reason for Bruce Bochy to get aggressive like we saw with Hunter Pence?
I think so. When your offense is sputtering, trying to find somebody to jumpstart the team offensively, and Marco Scutaro has done his best to try to be that guy, but you need more than one guy in the lineup. And when you're in a situation like that, that's when a manager tries to get involved a little bit more with the game. Get your hands on it, maybe play a little hit and run, try to steal a base. Bochy's not a huge fan of the sacrifice bunt. Maybe you bunt some guys into scoring position just to give some hitters an opportunity to drive in runs.
You can see the season that Cody has had. The power production just has not been there, fighting all these leg injuries. Last 22 games, Cody Ross hitting .206 with 7 RBIs.
Right, even though that ball was fouled straight back to the backstop, his timing was really good on that particular swing. That's when the hitter knows you're getting close. When you foul that ball right over the catcher and umpire straight back to the backstop.
Straight back up the middle. Brandon Crawford charges. 1 out in the second. Final at Coors Field, BB. Padres beat the Rockies.
Way to go, Friars.
We'll be in San Diego at the end of next week. So right now it's 3 and 3.5.
Quite possibly a little too early to get excited about the standings, but why not? Nothing like a pennant race starting in June.
Miguel Montero. Miggy back on the interstate at $1.99, 3 homers and 17 RBIs. 0 for 3 with a walk last night. This is their 2-0. A reminder, every time a Diamondbacks player hits a home run this season, Fulton Homes donates $150 to the Central Arizona Mountain Rescue Association. Miggy's last homer came right here at Chase Field, May 10th. Look out.
That gentleman was so excited to get that bat that when he went to sit back down in his seat, he didn't realize it had flipped up and ended up on the ground momentarily.
Four for 21 career against Madison Bumgarner. Montero has hit safely in 11 of his last 15 games. And matched up against a tough left-hander tonight. Second strikeout for Bumgarner, 2 down.
It's always easier said than done, but this is really the kind of night Miggy needs to think about going to the opposite field. Bumgarner's not going to make many mistakes from the middle of the plate in against a left-handed hitter. He's going to throw a lot of those slow breaking balls off the outside corner. The best approach is to try to shoot him to the opposite field.
Martin Prado, 255, 4 home runs, 18 RBIs. Shot to first. Brandon Belt will flip to Bumgarner covering, and it's another 1-2-3 inning for the Giants starter. We're through 2. It's 2-0 Giants. Coyotes legend watched the Diamondbacks and Giants tonight at Chase Field. Big crowd here. A lot of Coyotes hanging around. Derek Morse, great to have him here. And it leads into our AT&T Twitter poll question: who will win the Stanley Cup? And the correct answer is Bruins. Thanks for playing.
I beg to differ.
Well, you'd be wrong.
Okay.
2 words, BB. Tuukka Rask. 2 words.
Well, I'm not that big of a hockey fan. I don't even know what that means.
He's a finished goaltender, and he has been unbelievable.
Well, he might be finished.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Gregor Blanco struck out his first time. Blanco, Scudero, Posey 1, 2, and 3 in the Giant third against Trevor Cahill. Blanco hasn't hit much lately. 9 hits in his last 50 at bats. Trevor Cahill having trouble with command. He has the best ground ball percentage in the major leagues. He is #1 in baseball, 57.7% with the ground ball. So that number tells you the sinking two-seamer is just as effective as it's ever been. There's a fly ball deep to center. A.J. Pollock will watch it bounce off the wall, and Blanco heads for second. He'll stop there with his 7th double this year.
And because of that ground ball rate that you talked about, and the fact that most hits against Trevor Cahill are ground balls that sneak through the infield, it's a little troubling when you see the leadoff hitter bang one off the center field wall 400 feet away. He just doesn't give up a lot of long fly ball base hits like that.
Two 2-0 Giants. Leadoff man on in scoring position. Here's Marco Scutaro. Tap back to the mound his first time up. Scutaro 2 for 4 last night with a double. 7th in the league in hitting at .326. 10th in on base percentage at .378. Here's another wild pitch. Cahill leads the major leagues in wild pitches. And it all goes back to that one word, command.
That appeared to be a changeup, judging from the rotation on that pitch, way up and in, nearly hitting Scutaro. That's one of those situations. The other team's trying to give you an out right there. Throw a strike, let him bunt the ball, take the out.
9th wild pitch already this season for Trevor Cahill. He leads all of baseball.
I mean, the last thing you want to do against a struggling offense is give them a light at the end of the tunnel. Give them scoring opportunities that perhaps they don't deserve.
He's behind 3-0. There's the strike, 3-1. Mentioned that Trevor said in his last start, felt like I was behind in the count the whole game. Back that way tonight. 46 pitches, only 26 for strikes. On the ground to third, Martin Prado. When Trevor Cahill had his best season in the big leagues, he went 18-8 with the Oakland A's in 2010. He had a walks per 9 innings rate of .288. The 2 seasons after that, his walks per 9 rate jumped up to .355 and .333, and he went from being an 18-game winner to a .500 pitcher for the next 2 years. Buster Posey grounded to short his first time. So until Trevor finds a way to consistently command that sinker, he's going to remain erratic, a .500 type guy who essentially alternates wins and losses, just as he's done over his last 10 starts this year. When he is able to control that two-seamer, he is dominant, and we've seen that this year in spots. But the control is just not there tonight.
Other than the fact he's just all over the place right now, that's not the worst thing that can happen. Putting a runner on first base here, setting up a potential inning-ending double play. If you thought it was by design, maybe so, but I think Trevor is just struggling right now to find any kind of a consistent release point, especially with that changeup.
We've seen him dominate this year. 7 1/3 scoreless against the Dodgers. 8 innings of 4-hit ball against these Giants on April 30th. 1 run on 5 hits in 8 innings at Miami. When he's on, when he's throwing that two-seam sinking fastball for strikes, he can be as good as anyone. But the command, for the most part, has just not been there this year. And that's the battle. Blanco at third, Posey at first, one out. Pablo Sandoval single his first time up.
Watch the first pitch. I swear he'd swing at the rosin bag if Trevor threw it up there to the plate. This guy just lives to swing that bat.
The Panda tied for 12th in the league at RBIs at 37. 2 for 4 last night, scored the Giants' only run of the game.
Now this is a guy that you could try to intentionally knock off the plate and he might swing at it.
Boy, he's fun to watch. See how this pitch moves.
Well, normally you would say, well, don't throw him another strike. He's a free swinger. You're ahead in the count 0-2. Bounce a couple breaking pitches up there. Maybe elevate a fastball. That's what they try to do. Go upstairs with a heater. But when you're not commanding your pitches and you're trying to throw one out of the strike zone, there's a very good chance you might throw that one right down the middle of the plate. If you don't know where that ball's going when it leaves your hand, you can't really set up and attack a hitter the way you need to.
Looking for the ground ball right here. And there it is, right back to Cahill. He'll go to second. Gregorius, can they turn it? And they do. The ground ball, double play ball gets Trevor Cahill out of a jam. Bottom 3 coming up. Diamondbacks down 2-0. Gerardo Parra on the way. Brought to you in part by Ram Trucks, proud partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks, and by Gila River, another proud partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Chase Field, Giants 2, Diamondbacks nothing as we get set for the bottom of the third, and a change for San Francisco. Joaquin Arias has suddenly replaced the Kung Fu Panda at third.
Tomahawks that ball back to the mound, kind of stumbled getting out of the batter's box, but just broke it down about halfway to first base and went back to the bench, talked to the trainer for a moment, and headed straight up the tunnel.
Gerardo Parra, base hit. He is unbelievable. Look out for the blow dart. Should mention that Sandoval has been injured lately. He recently missed 3 games with a strained left foot. Had to sit out the Giants' entire series at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. That was last weekend. Sandoval did return to action this week when the Giants played a pair at home against the Blue Jays, and he went 1 for 7. So perhaps that foot injury has been aggravated. Parra aboard, 5 stolen bases in 12 attempts. And here is Didi Gregorius. Didi 322, 4 home runs, 14 RBIs. Gerardo Parra 2 for 4 last night, on base again. Didi has hit in 7 straight games, 333 during his hit streak. 1 for 3 last night in the series opener with a double. But a tough matchup here. He's batting only .217 versus left-hand pitchers this year. The numbers for Didi during his streak: 24 games against lefties this season, 10 for 46. Misses there. It's 2-2. Got him. Third strikeout from Madison Bumgarner. 1 down in the 3rd.
Well, one area of his game that he has really improved is holding runners over there at first base, altering his delivery to home plate, something that all the Diamondbacks pitchers pay a lot of attention to. Last season, 27 stolen base against Bumgarner, most in the major leagues. This year, opponents just 4 out of 6 in stolen base attempts, not running nearly as often.
Corners crash. Trevor Cahill takes a strike. 2 for 25 on the year with 13 strikeouts, trying to move Parra along. Oddly, Trevor has hit for extra bases. He's got 2 hits, 1 double and 1 triple.
Halfway to the cycle.
It's a down in fair territory. Posey makes the play at first. 2 down. Parra moves up 90 feet.
Tonight's broadcast is on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces serving in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea. They're watching all around the world in Iraq, Germany, Italy, Southwest Asia, South Korea, and Japan. Welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for your service.
Absolutely. All our games in this Critical Giant series will be on AFN, and we're very proud to be broadcasting to our servicemen and women all over the world. Diamondbacks baseball here from Chase Field in downtown Phoenix. Willie Bloomquist 0 for 1, grounded to third his first time up. By the way, it's 108 outside, so we know from hot.
Yes, we do.
And I'm told it'll get worse. Everybody says that.
Just a little.
So, you ready for your first summer there?
Well, the good news is you don't have to shovel sunshine.
All right, nice job.
Yes, indeed.
Look at all the great Diamondbacks fans. One and one. Bumgarner missed there. In 14 1/3 against the D-backs this year, Madison Bumgarner has allowed only 1 run. He faced the Diamondbacks twice already. First meeting April 24th at AT&T Park. He went 7 1/3, gave up only 5 hits. At one point in that game, Bumgarner retired 14 straight and 18 of 19. That's lifted in the air to right. Hunter Pence drifting toward the line. And that ends the third. Diamondbacks get a hit. They leave 1 through 3. They're down 2-0. Fourth inning at Chase Field, and hey, there's still time to come out here and watch the game tomorrow. Diamondbacks and Giants. Get your tickets right now at 602-462-4600 or log on to dbacks.com/tickets, and we'll see you out here tomorrow at Chase Field for Bark in the Park Day. Huge crowd here tonight. This place is absolutely electric. A lot of D-backs fans looking to see if their team can extend the NL West lead. This place is full. Big series this weekend, and right back out on the road. More NL West work ahead of us with the Dodgers and Padres. Padres beat the Rockies at Coors Field today. Hunter Pence reached on a fielder's choice, stole second, stole third, and came in on a throwing error by Miguel Montero. Scored the first Giant run. Cahill buckled him with that one. It's 1-1. This guy, pound for pound, one of the strongest men in baseball. He looks, kind of scrawny, gangly up there, but this guy is a wall of muscle. And the seats right down the left field line in batting practice were full hours before the game. Just to the left of the Diamondbacks bullpen out there, and Hunter Pence was filling the sections of seats with baseballs in batting practice. And he lines into that same spot. It's off the bullpen wall and over the wall. Hunter Pence has a double. His 17th double this season. He's on base again. 200 for the career.
That's amazing how much power Hunter Pence can generate. He chokes up on the bat about an inch. The big high leg kick, super long stride into the ball. But when he barrels it up, he can hit it as hard as anybody.
Last time he was on second, he took off for third, so watch out. Brandon Belt steps in. He struck out his first time up, 0 for 1.
Boy, for me, that's the danger area for Brandon Belt. He has proven to me with what he's done against the D-backs this year that he can be quick inside. He's handled pitches that were even off the plate inside, gotten the barrel on them, and done big time damage.
Brandon Belt has not hit lately. 8 for his last 45. It's amazing how when guys have 90+ mile an hour pitches fouled off their faces, they don't even flinch.
It's become second nature. You get used to those. As long as they hit you in the mask, that's okay. Talk about it all the time. Those foul balls seem to find unprotected areas with regularity. You take one off the mask, that's no big deal. Good idea there, that inside move to second base, even though there was no throw. Just let Hunter Pence know that you have that particular move. That could slow down that walking lead at second base.
60 pitches for Cahill, only 34 for strikes. He's ahead 1-2. They got the cooler down there. Brandon Belt from Nacogdoches, Texas, went to Hudson High School in Lufkin, Texas. Eventually UT. He's a Longhorn. 5th round pick by the Giants in 09. Hard to right. Gerardo Parra can't get it. Pence had to hold up at second. He'll head for third.
Oh, this is not good. Gerardo Parra looked like he rolled over on that left wrist as he made that right wrist rather as he made that diving attempt. Now grabbing at his rib cage. He stayed down on his hands and knees for a few moments after throwing that ball back into the infield. Great effort there. Ball obviously short hopped. He may have actually landed on the baseball there.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, Bob.
Great effort. Just not quite able to get the glove underneath the ball, and then comes down hard right on top of the baseball, which is good news for what I thought happened. I thought he rolled over on that right wrist.
Yeah, that spot that he's holding on his chest there appears to be right where the ball landed. So no outs, first and third. Andres Torres walked and scored his first time. Torres is a switch hitter who is much better from the right-hand side, batting .328 as a righty this year. Only .221 from the left-hand batter's box. Although both his 2 home runs this season have come from the left side. Angel Pagano on the DL. So it's been a Blanco and Torres combination in left and center for the Giants last 2 weeks. Torres struggles away from AT&T Park, hitting .151 on the road this year. He's a .356 hitter at home, which is a big reason why he called Bruce Bochy all offseason long and said, I want to come home after spending time with the Mets. Out of play. A lot of Sedona red here tonight. Looks great. All 3 decks full. Out of play. Karam died there. It's a long run for Wayne Laskin. Still moving. Look at Wayne go get it. Pouncing on that one.
Barehanded play by Wayne. Nice going.
He can cover a lot of ground. It's the Khakis. Brandon Belt is back safely. Giants have out hit the Diamondbacks 5-1. They lead it 2-0. Right field, Gerardo Parra drifting toward the line. He has it. Hunter Pence will tag. Here's the throw. And he's in there. 3-0 San Francisco. So a run scored and an RBI now for Andres Torres.
With a runner like Hunter Pence at third and a deep fly ball, there are very few right fielders that would even attempt to throw this ball home, but Parra gives it a shot just a tad late as you see Pence giving it everything he has down that third base line. Gets in ahead of the throw.
Brandon Belt stays put at first. Now 1 out for Brandon Crawford. RBI double his first time up. And there's another one in the gap. Gerardo Parra won't get there, but he cuts it off nicely. Belt to third. Parra does not cut that ball off. It rolls to the wall, and Belt scores easily.
Loud contact here in this inning against Trevor Cahill. We're used to seeing that ball pounded into the dirt in front of home plate. A lot of easy ground balls to his infielders when he's right. I mentioned it earlier on that ball driven off the wall in center field. Leading off the third inning by Blanco. You just don't see a lot of balls hit hard in the air against Trevor Cahill, but we're seeing some off the Giants' bats here tonight.
69 pitches, 42 for strikes. He has alternated wins and losses over his last 10 starts. 5 wins, 5 losses. Madison Bumgarner, 3 hits in the inning against Cahill. First and third, 1 out. Bumgarner squares, bunts it back to the mound. Paul Goldschmidt takes it, and Belt scores. 4-0 Giants.
MLB.com at bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers D-backs baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, and highlights. Text at bat to 31826 or visit dbacks.com for details.
RBI from Madison Bumgarner. 4-0 Giant lead now. Gregor Blanco 1 for 2, doubled his last time. Giants with 2 in the second and now 2 in the fourth. Pulls that one down the right field line, and that will get down and over the wall. Crawford will score from second. 5-0 Giants against Trevor Cahill. Second double for Blanco and 2 at bats.
Giants have 7 hits in this game. 4 of them have been doubles. That ball smoked down the right field line. Trevor Cahill needs to find a way to regroup out there. They're just hitting him right on the button right now.
Marco Scutaro, 7 hits for the Giants, 1 for the Diamondbacks. Josh Colmenter is up in the bullpen. Scutaro is 0 for 2. He has twice grounded out. Josh Colmenter, the hero of that long extra inning game in St. Louis, where he was outstanding for 4 innings with 5 big strikeouts. Scutaro will base it up the middle. They wave Crawford. Here's the throw from Pollock. And he scores. 6-0 Giants. RBI single for Marco Scutaro. And they are knocking Trevor Cahill all over the yard here tonight. Five hits in this inning.
Kirk Gibson needs somebody on that field right now to go out there and stall for a little bit of time. The imaginary piece of dirt in the eye, tie a shoelace, get a glove restrung, do something. Miguel Montero making his way out to the mound now.
Now remember, Josh Colmenter, the unsung hero in that D-backs 14-inning win over the Cardinals. That was Tuesday. 4 scoreless innings, all in extra innings, getting out of several big jams with clutch strikeouts. And once again, he threw essentially close to a complete game as a reliever can. 68 pitches out there at Busch Stadium. And he has been on extended duty lately. Pitched last Thursday in Texas, 52 pitches over 2 1/3, and that was only 5 days after he threw 46 pitches in another extended outing against the Padres. "6-0. Here's Buster Posey. Buster Posey's 8th home run of the year, and this is all Giants tonight. It's a 6-run San Francisco 4th. They lead it 8-zip.
The Giants up there hacking away like they know what's coming. Really, it's just been bad location. Everything up, up, up in this inning. Instead of getting the ground balls he's looking for, a lot of line drives, and in this case, a long fly ball.
Kirk Gibson at the mound. Trevor Cahill's night ends right now. 8 runs on 9 hits. Josh Colemanter coming in. We'll take a break from Chase Field. Cahill allowed 5 runs on 9 hits in 5 innings, and the line is 8 earned on 9 hits in 3 2/3 tonight.
Ooh, not good at all. Boy, I mean, we talked about him finding the strike zone, and unfortunately in that inning he did, but everything was up with very little movement. That looked like batting practice.
Joaquin Arias, the 9th Giant to hit in this inning. He came in and took over for Pablo Sandoval at third base after the Panda apparently aggravated a foot injury running up the first baseline. So they've gone to the well one more time. Josh Colemanter. Fastball changeup, and that was it. Boy, he was outstanding against the Cardinals Tuesday. 4 scoreless innings, all in extra innings. It wasn't like that was mop-up duty, essentially what he's doing tonight. That was, every inning was key. Every inning the Cardinals had a runner on. That was the winning run, and every time he got out of the jam with clutch strikeouts. He was superb. And he immediately strikes out Arias, and that ends mercifully the Giant 4th. A tough night for Trevor Cahill at Chase Field. Paul Goldschmidt on the way. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. The RBI leader in June. Diamondbacks down 8-0 as we start the home half of the fourth. Well, lights, cameras, and millions of dollars make the WPTLA Poker Classic a can't-miss event, and we invite you to tune in to the World Poker Tour Sunday, 11 o'clock on Fox Sports Arizona. DB, you a card man at all?
I used to, a little bit back in the day. All those bus trips around the minor leagues, it wasn't uncommon to have a card game going in the back.
Just friendly game.
Well, playing for pennies and nickels, you know, we weren't making much money. Hey, we mentioned earlier this telecast tonight on the Armed Forces Network. Going to Germany, I would assume it's going to United States Army Garrison Grafenwehr, place we got to visit in January, and I know that there's one guy there at least that's very happy. Staff Sergeant Mike Boom, a big Giants fan, had the opportunity to talk to Mike for a long time.
Arias at third. One away in the fourth. Now, was he a big Bob Brenly fan?
As a matter of fact, he was. He grew up at the time I was playing throughout the decade of the 80s, and he suffered right along with the team there in San Francisco. We had some very bad years early on, but really came on at the end of the 80s when Roger Craig and Al Rosen came on board. Had some playoff appearances, a World Series appearance in 1989 in the Earthquake Series, and Mike Boom was a big Giants fan at that particular time. And his father's a big Giants fan up in Sacramento as well. They have to be happy tonight.
No, they're the only ones.
Yeah.
Paul Goldschmidt flied out deep to right field his first time, garnering a lot of national attention for his outstanding play. Leading MVP candidate in the National League. In fact, he may be, Bob, America's first baseman. That's a T-shirt. It's a Renegade T-shirt, actually, that's been floating around the Diamondbacks clubhouse, and Goldie has done his best to snuff that out. He's not a real fan of that kind of personal attention, but he is heating up, that's for sure.
Right along with the temperature outside the ballpark, Goldie is heating up.
385 over his last 13 games. In fact, in those last 13 games, Paul has 20 hits, 21 RBIs, and 12 runs scored. And he is an all-star. Along with Gerardo Parra, Patrick Corbin, a few others. All-star game at Citi Field in New York this July. Goldie was asked recently what's been the biggest reason for his progression as a hitter, and he said, You know, he's been able to be consistent with his approach, especially the mental part of the game. Don't give away at bats. Don't chase pitches out of the zone. Wait for the pitcher to make a mistake and then hit that pitch, drive the ball into a hole. Once again, he's worked himself into a full count. And Goldie said what I thought was interesting too is the other part of that is also not getting too frustrated when the pitcher makes a good pitch and wins an at bat or two. That's going to happen, in fact, 7 out of 10 times usually. High in the air to center field. Blanco camps out underneath. 2 down.
That's a very valuable lesson to learn early on in your career, that the guy out there on the mound is making a lot of money to try to get you out. You see most RBI in the month of June. Paul Goldschmidt pacing the way by a wide margin over Carlos Gonzalez. That's a lesson a lot of guys don't learn until much later in their career. Also, the fact that you can't control the results. That's why he's so focused on his approach. He figures if the approach is good, the results will follow. I mean, let's face it, everybody that steps in the batter's box is trying to get a hit every at bat. I don't care what the score of the game is, what your average is, what your salary is. Everybody that steps into that batter's box is trying their best to get a base hit.
And you forget these, you watch them every day, these are the best players in the world. The other side, regardless of the record, has some of the best players on the planet. But it's interesting, there's so much failure attached with this game that even at a young age, that shows you where Goldie is mentally in terms of his progression, his maturity, to realize that you're going to fail often and find a way to deal with that. I think that's remarkable.
Well, I think it speaks to the season he's had up to this point. The fact that when Goldie comes up to the plate in a big situation, you're much more surprised when he doesn't come through than when he does come through. He has been so good.
Cody Ross hits the 2-1 pitch foul. It's 2-2. Cody says he just keeps feeling like at any time here it's going to get going for him and he's going to start producing. Just keep grinding out at bats. Hope that foot and calf feel better. Loosen up and get going after missing all of spring training and set him back. Lifted in the air to center. Blanco on the run toward right center, and now out there is Scudero, and he can't corral it. Cody Ross will stop it first. It dropped into no man's land. Blanco was coming in hard from center field. And there'll be a discussion about what happened there.
The Giants have been a struggling defensive team all season long. I think Hunter Pence thought Marco Scudero was going to get back underneath that ball, be able to face home plate and make a routine catch. He kind of gave up on it early. Blanco had a long run to get there. He was playing deep for Cody Ross. Scudero really the only guy in the vicinity that time. Could not make the play.
Put it in a good spot. 2-out single. Here's Miguel Montero, struck out his first time up. Miggy struggled early last year as well, not nearly to the point he is this season, but go back to last year, he had 257 for the first month, then 247 in May. Said it wasn't a vision issue per se, but he was really having trouble picking up the ball out of the pitcher's hand. But then he really put it together over the summer. He hit 329 last June, 300 last July, 329 in September. So that would suggest that there are better things ahead this year for Miguel Montero, with a lot of help from Don Baylor and Turner Ward, the hitting coaches.
has done a much better job of this as of late, getting himself into better hitters counts. We talked about it on that last road trip. It seemed like for the better part of the first 2 months of the season, he was 0-2 just about every at bat.
Yeah, that's changed a lot, I think, over the last few weeks. Just on pure time. I mean, he had some at bats that took 40 seconds. But now they're, regardless of the result, they're drawn out. Here's a full count. This is a great example. But you see that look. He's had that look on his face right there for 2 months. Ralphie. Good to see Ralph feeling better. Had the flu while we were gone. Looks thinner. Looks good. Cody Ross running on the pitch. It's line to center. There's a base hit. Cody Ross will try for third on those bad wheels. And he's out. Final out of the inning at third. It's 8-0 Giants. Trevor Cahill, and Bob, I think it's a location issue, right?
Yeah, I got some pitches up in that fourth inning, including that one right there. Got tomahawk down the right field line. That's not a horrible pitch working its way down and in. Another ball middle of the plate and up mid thighs. And then Buster Posey on a spinning breaking ball that really didn't do much of anything. Absolutely murdered it to left field.
Well, if you're going to live and die with a two-seam sinking fastball, it has to sink. It can't hang. And those were hangers.
And it's always going to sink better down in the zone. And yeah, perfect example of a D-back player just trying to do too much. Team's been getting shellacked here tonight through 4 innings, and Cody thought he could make it from first to third since he was running on the pitch. A great throw by Gregor Blanco nailed him at third base.
Hunter Pence doubled and scored his last time up. He scored twice tonight. Also has a pair of stolen bases.
Hunter Pence is such a unique character. I mean, we're used to seeing big league hitters with 2 batting gloves on, sometimes with no batting gloves on, but Hunter Pence just wears one on the bottom hand.
Well, he's a funny guy. He moved around a lot in recent major league seasons and says new situations never bother him. He went to 12 different schools when he was a kid. His dad, Howard Pence, was in the cattle and oil business, and they moved the family all over the place. So he was always the new kid in school. When he was traded to the Giants last year, he found an apartment 5 minutes away from AT&T Park. He lived there with his dad and his girlfriend, and he went back and forth to the ballpark every day on a stand-up scooter. He would just scoot back and forth. Left his car in Houston. Didn't want to wait for his dad to come by and pick him up after the game, so he just got a scooter and he just scoot home. He's a different cat.
Well, there is no one size fits all in this game. He brings a lot of personality, obviously high energy guy.
High up in the air, just under the roof. Paul Goldschmidt drifting toward foul ground. Has it, one away. So for the first time tonight, Hunter Pence is not on base. Brings up Brandon Belt. There's also the caveman diet that he's on. Are you familiar with this?
You mentioned it earlier this year when we played against the Giants. Paleo.
Nice.
Diet?
Yeah, the paleo diet. It consists of eating only foods that were around for the cavemen. Here's the Brandon Belt shift. Basically, if it didn't exist for cavemen, you can't eat it. So the only thing that Hunter Pence eats: fish, grass-fed meats, veggies, fruits, and nuts, and that's it. No grains, no dairy, no processed foods.
No pizza.
He eats a lot of kale. That sounds good. Yeah, no all-you-can-eat seats for Hunter Pence.
Well, it works for him. And once again, everybody's different. Everybody has certain triggers, certain things, and that includes your diet. Things that make you go. Obviously, not the same diet that Pablo Sandoval is on. He actually eats dinosaurs.
The fat burger here in the ballpark. Down the left field line, Cody Ross chases after it in foul ground. And Cody makes the catch right behind Dave Abdu. Did a good job getting out of the way with the chair there.
I tell you, the guys at the bottom of this Giants order coming into tonight were combined 3 for 33 lifetime against Trevor Cahill, but unfortunately a lot of the damage was either done or started by those guys at the bottom of the order tonight. 3 for 4 with a couple runs driven in. They've scored 3 runs. Bumgarner put down a sac bunt. Torres hit a sac fly. There was a walk involved in there. You never know where the offense is going to come from when you tee them up and go out there and start a major league ball game.
Andres Torres walked and scored in the second. Sac fly RBI in the fourth. Yes, he went, Alan Porter. Strikeout for Josh Colmenter. It's a 1-2-3-5. Bottom 5 on the way. It's 8-0 Giants. Today, fans got the Aaron Hill bobblehead. And there's a lot more giveaways coming up this year at Chase Field. July 5th, Stars and Stripes t-shirt, courtesy of Ram Trucks. I'm not sure what's happening there. July 13th, D-backs beach towel, courtesy of Gila River Casinos. July 27th, Luchador mask, courtesy of Circle K New Division. That's a must-have. So grab your tickets now for these giveaway games. You can get them at dbacks.com or call up 602-462-4600. Is it 1977? Martin Prado. Can we go back to that guy? That was quite a shirt.
The shirt looked like a disco ball.
Sure did. That's a fantastic look
For him.
Well, he's able to pull it off. That is awesome. Fair ball. Bumgarner. Prado's retired. One down in the 5th. Here is the ridiculously hot Gerardo Parra. He has been putting on an offensive show as of late. Singled his first time up. Paranoia will destroy you, Bob Brenly.
Yes, indeed.
And he has been a one-man wrecking crew. Last 13 games, 20 hits and 12 runs scored. He's 1 for 1 tonight. Tied with Matt Carpenter and Daniel Murphy for the league lead in doubles with 19, just one ahead of Paul Goldschmidt. And this is where he ranks among National League leaders, offensively and defensively. He has been the complete package. In fact, his career high for doubles in a season is 21. He's already got 19. It's June 8th. His career high for home runs is 8. He's already got 5.
A lot of indignation because Gerardo Parra is not on the All-Star ballot, and we talked about this the other day. He was supposed to be the 4th outfielder.
Yeah, there was the big question. How are they going to get this guy 500 at bats? Is there any way they can do it? Well, yeah. Now, granted, you don't want to have it to do it under these circumstances with Adam Eaton out all year, but boy, this guy has been one of the best players in the major leagues, period. So write him in. You think that's the reason why he's not on the ballot?
I'm guessing that's the reason. Each team submits the players that they feel should be placed on the All-Star ballot, and given the fact it was going to be Jason Kubel, Cody Ross, and Adam Eaton, Parra was going to be the rover outfield, so to speak. Play a little right, play a little center, maybe play a little left. Try to get him as many at bats as possible, but was not projected to be the starter.
He has never had 500 at bats in a season in his career. Bumgarner misses there. It's 2-2. And he said this spring, I'm ready for 500. That's a good number for me. And to his credit, he's never made it an issue before. He said, we don't need any controversy from anybody, somebody talking too much. I don't want to think about 4 outfielders are playing every day, all that. Lifts it to left. Torres is there. Trying to get all turned around, but he retires Parra. 2 down.
Now, his attitude throughout has been outstanding. He's said the right things. He's done the right things. And we've talked about him all season long. I don't know where the D-backs would be without him. Did not have a real leadoff hitter going into the season because of the injury to Adam Eaton. And as I mentioned earlier, A.J. Pollock has done a very nice job when he's been asked to be the leadoff hitter. But Gerardo Parra has been exceptional.
Didi Gregorius struck out his first time up. And a lot of the things in terms of intangibles that they hoped Adam Eaton would do for this ball club really give them a definition of what kind of team they would have, define their personality, as it were. Gritty and all that stuff. Boy, Parra has done that. On the play, it's 0-2. Some action down in the Diamondbacks bullpen. Matt Reynolds is throwing. mentioned that virtually every appearance for Josh Colmenter lately has been an extended appearance. So the pitch total for the year is racking up. Might not want to have Josh go 4 or so tonight if you don't have to. Jason Kubel has made an appearance. He'll hit in the pitcher's spot should Didi get aboard here. That old school Giants jersey. Juan Marichal, the Dominican dandy. Struck him out. 4 strikeouts for Madison Bumgarner. It's 8-0 Giants through 5.
So what's next? By Mazda. We believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. And by Jack in the Box. The Chipotle Chicken Club Combo is back for a limited time at Jack in the Box. Try one today with fries and a drink for just $4.99 plus tax.
Hey fans, check out the new Grab and Go outside section 104 at Chase Field. Great place to find all your favorite Pepsi products. Look for the QR and scan for your chance to win great prizes at the Grab and Go right outside section 104. You grab and you go. Brandon Crawford leads off the Giants' 6th against Josh Colmenter. Crawford RBI double in the 2nd, singled and scored a run in the 4th. He's 2 for 2. Crawford just 2 for his last 16 coming into tonight, but appears to have fixed what was wrong here. 2 for 2 so far.
It's a real nice contrast going from Trevor Cahill and that sinker ball low 3/4 arm angle to Josh Colmenter and that 4-seamer changeup combination directly over the top. Really gives hitter a completely different look than they've seen in their first couple of at-bats in the game.
Coley was out here early catching some touchdown passes. A lot of times to break up the monotony of getting their running in. The D-backs pitchers, most of the relievers will get together and they'll run pass patterns with a Nerf football out in the outfield. And it's gets pretty competitive out there. Colementor was running some sharp routes, making some good cuts, good set of hands.
Boy, and you hit it right on the head. Just a way to break up the monotony. I mean, how many times can you run the warning track from foul pole to foul pole without going brain dead?
A.J. Pollock. Let's go downstairs to Brad.
Well, a fantastic sight for Diamondback fans as injured pitcher Daniel Hudson was back in uniform and back on the D-backs dugout. Of course, making his way back from Tommy John surgery, an injury that happened last June, and on Friday making a rehab start in AA Mobile. He re-tore that UCL, and so it's decision time for Daniel Hudson. But it was great to see him back, and earlier he and Ian Kennedy, very good friends, sharing some laughs and some smiles, and obviously it's way too early to tell what he's going to do on that decision to have that Tommy John surgery again, or if he's going to maybe perhaps elect not to pitch. But I think it's a good sign that he's back with his teammates and feeling a part of this team once again.
Yeah, it was a real blow for everybody around here. Everyone had the same reaction. Oh, you're kidding me. Because he was so close to getting back after the year and all that work.
And I had a chance to see him pitch a couple of games down in extended spring, including a 5-inning outing when he really looked good. Ball was jumping out of his hand. His velocity was good. Breaking stuff was very crisp. It looked like he was well on his way back.
And he will be back. Colementor behind 3-1 to the pitcher Madison Bumgarner here. And there's a strike. It's 3-2. Ball 4. You can see Josh pretty upset with himself there.
Josh is upset when he walks anybody, especially the opposing pitcher.
When you score a walk, and this has just occurred to me as I look up at the scoreboard out there in your little book there, do you write BB?
I do. Just out of habit.
Hello, it's thanks for coming. Did you know Andy Dick was going to be at the game tonight? I didn't.
Oh, must have lost a bet.
We're told it's a bachelor party.
Well, if the bride-to-be gets a look at that get-up, there may not be a wedding.
Maybe that's the idea. Yes, buy some new clothes.
Oh, please.
T-shirt, some shorts, something. Hey, as long as you're here at the ballpark. Saturday, D-backs in first place.
Yeah, there's no dress code.
Yeah. We're pretty cash around here, man. I mean, just come and chill, hang out, watch a game. A lot of fans doing that tonight. This place is full up. 37,000 plus last night. Even more here tonight. Blanco strikes out. 3 strikeouts for Josh Colementor. 2 down in the 6th.
Second baseman, Marco Scudero.
Really good straight changeup that time for Josh Colementor with that over-the-top delivery. He allows the grip to take the velocity off the pitch. Throws it just like he throws his fastball. For all intent and purposes, the hitter think it's a fastball. That's why you see those very early off-balance swings.
Marco Scudero, RBI single. He scored a run his last time up. 1 for 3. This guy hit a major league best .420 in May. And a 19-game hitting streak during which he hit .481. Brandon Belt is not an all-star. Stop voting. Put down that ballot. Now that's what an all-star looks like at first base. Although he would be the last guy to tell you that. Marco Scutaro 4 for 16 in the Giants' 4-game World Series sweep of the Tigers, where they won in freezing conditions at Comerica Park. It was brutally cold there. And when he arrived in Scottsdale this spring for camp, he said, "I took my glove out of my bag and it was still cold." He's cashed in on that tremendous performance in his brief stint with the Giants last year. A new 3-year, $20 million deal. It'll take him all the way up to his 40th birthday. Tell you what, he was hitting .271 with the Rockies when that deal was made at the deadline last year. But in 61 games with San Francisco, he hit .362. Hit safely in 52 of those 61 games down the stretch. He was sensational.
He's got kind of an unusual approach in that right-handed batter's box. Very casual, standing almost straight upright, holds the bat very loosely in his hands, down around belt high. But once that pitch is delivered, he's in a more traditional hitting pose. Gets the hands back a little bit. A lot of different ways to set up in the batter's box, but if you freeze it at the point of delivery, almost every hitter's in a very similar position. It's just a matter of comfort how you set up in that batter's box as you're waiting for the pitch. A little bit open with that front leg. You see the hands down around the waist, very casual. He even takes his bottom hand off the bat to make sure he doesn't have any tension in his wrist and forearms.
Ball 4. Well, it works. Last year, Scutaro finished with 190 hits, tied for third most in the league. Second walk in the inning issued by Josh Colmenter. Buster Posey coming up.
Buster Posey busted one back in that 4th inning as Trevor Cahill struggled. The ball was hit so high I didn't know if he got enough of it to get it out of here, but that's a strong man. Gets it about 5 rows up into the bleachers and straightaway left. No real surprise there. Buster Posey and Yadier Molina setting the benchmark offensively for National League catchers.
It's 8-0, so I'm going to metric up on you for a second here. Buster Posey's wins above replacement was 4.2 in 2010, 8.0 last year, meaning Posey was worth 4 and 8 wins to the Giants over another player who would have had to replace him had he been injured. Over the previous 50 years, there have only been 35 catchers worth more than that in terms of wins above replacement, and that's why. Lines one to the gap in right center. Bumgarner takes the turn and he will score. It's 9-0 Giants. Third RBI for Buster Posey tonight.
After taking a couple of aggressive swings early in the at-bat, he actually hits a pretty good pitch from Josh Colmenter. Just stays on it, flips it out there toward the gap in right center field for an RBI base hit.
Over the previous 50 years, only 35 individual catcher seasons worth more than 4.2 wins above replacement. And it's amazing what he's producing. You forget he's only 26. Just turned 26 in March. And the Giants went all in. 9 years, $167 million, a full no trade. Gets him into $20 million a year and north of that beginning in 2016. He has signed up through 2021. Last season, the NL MVP. Led the majors with a .336 batting average. Joaquin Arias. That's out of play.
Well, all you need to know about Buster Posey is when he was called up to stay to the major leagues, they immediately inserted him into the number 4 spot in the lineup and put him behind the plate, catching arguably the best pitching staff in baseball, and did not hesitate one instant to do it. They knew he was ready. They knew what he was all about, not only offensively, but defensively, leadership skills. There's a total package behind the plate.
Well, after the Giants won another World Series with Posey behind the plate, his hometown newspaper in Albany, Georgia, published a poll, and among those surveyed, 89% said he was already a lock for the Hall of Fame. He went to New York in January to collect his NL MVP award, and Joe G will like this. He got a special treat. He went by the Yogi Berra Museum and Learning Center in Little Falls, New Jersey with his wife and parents, and got a personal tour from Yogi himself.
How about that?
Gregorius, what a play! There's one D in defense. There are 2 Ds in Didi, and he ends the 6th in style.
Up at one of the 16 interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Arizona Diamondbacks regular season home game. Tonight's contestant will take home a game piece autographed by tomorrow's starter Tyler Skaggs.
9-0. Giants lead the Diamondbacks. All right, they're playing Go Fish with their Aaron Hill bobblehead apparently in the pot.
Ooh,
big hand right there. Josh Wilson will hit for the pitcher to lead off the Arizona 6th against Madison Bumgarner. Josh 1 for 6 as a pinch hitter this season with a walk and 3 strikeouts. Josh Wilson, base hit, getting it going. The paper boy delivers again.
Yeah, we don't know if the D-backs will be able to come back in this ball game tonight, but we know one thing: they're not going to quit. They have not conceded anything. A 9-run deficit against Madison Bumgarner is not the most desirable position to be in, but it doesn't matter. They're going to grind out at bats the rest of the evening.
Willie Bloomquist 0 for 2 in the leadoff spot tonight. Funny thing about Madison Bumgarner, since he last faced the Diamondbacks, he's struggled. 1-4 in 6 starts. The ERA over 5.5 during that span. He's lost his last 2 starts, including a week ago today at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Against the Cardinals, gave up 5 earned on 6 hits and 6, and boy, he's looked great so far. Only 4 hits and 5 scoreless. You can see that last 6 right there, 5.54. He's really struggled lately, but certainly not tonight.
You see the opponent's batting average, however, still .236, and average with runners in scoring position .278. Both respectable, certainly, but just not to the standard that he's used to.
Bumgarner threw 94 pitches in his previous start last Saturday. It was the first time in 7 starts he did not go over the 100-pitch mark. He's got a ways to go here at 82 right now. 52 for strikes. And he has been almost strictly fastball slider. There's the pitch count. He throws either the fastball or the slider more than 74% of the time. Miss there, ball 4. 2 on, nobody out for the D-backs in the 6th. First walk issued by Mad Bum. Dave Righetti wants a chat. There is action in the Giants bullpen. Madison Bumgarner going into tonight had thrown exactly 1,326 pitches. Of those, 497 had been sliders. He's throwing a slider nearly 38% of the time this year. And the numbers at brooksbaseball.net, which does a tremendous job with PitchFX data, show that Bumgarner threw more than 1,400 sliders just last season, the most among all starting pitchers in baseball. Average starter, according to the data, throws a slider about 15% of the time. Last year, Bumgarner threw 40% sliders. It's a lot of wear and tear. A.J. Pollock.
His delivery, I think, kind of lends itself to throwing that many sliders. We talked about it when we faced him earlier this season. He kind of slings the ball up there to home plate. Doesn't put nearly the same kind of torque on his elbow that a lot of pitchers with what I would consider to be a normal delivery do. That's a slider right there. When he starts it right down the middle of the plate, you're almost always going to pull that ball foul down the third baseline.
He showed a big change in camp this spring when he altered his delivery. When he pitched from the windup, there was noticeably less swivel towards second base. He said he never really planned on turning so much last year, just kind of gradually happened more and more, and he was kind of spinning around like a Deo Nomo, he said, so he's worked on fixing that. One of the reasons he had so many problems holding runners on base. And A.J. drives it to left and gets by Torres. Here comes Wilson. Here comes Bloomquist. Pollock will stop at second. Now they're going to hold Willie at third. A run is in. A.J. Pollock's 17th double, and the Diamondbacks are on the board. Matt Williams was waving them both in, and then he put the brakes on Willie. Boy, went right through him.
Yeah, misplayed right at the very end by Andres Torres. Maybe lost it in the lights up above the bleachers here in right field. Just almost in self-defense. He put his glove up in his bare hand. I think he lost that ball.
Bruce Bochy's seen enough. So the Diamondbacks on the board. Once again, the only team in the major leagues that has not been shut out this year. They end Madison Bumgarner's night in the bottom of the 6th. They have 2 on, nobody out. Don't go anywhere. We'll take a break.
Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
New pitcher for the Giants, 31-year-old right-hander Ramon Ramirez, just called up from AAA Fresno on May 29th. Since then, he's appeared in 3 games. He's given up at least 1 run every time. This guy is a journeyman. He's been a Rocky, a Royal, a Red Sox, a Giant, a Met, and now a Giant again.
Throws a lot of off-speed pitches as a fastball, slider, change-up mix. He only throws his fastball, well, less than 40% of the time, so you're going to see a lot of off-speed pitches.
Paul Goldschmidt has flied out twice, 0 for 2. Second and third, nobody out, a run in the 6th. Look out. Bob, the first one buzzed the tower.
Yes, it did. As mentioned, he doesn't throw a lot of fastballs, but he really overthrew this one, pushing Goldie out of the way. Look at that close-up shot of Goldie after that pitch. Took a nice deep breath, just kind of gathered his thoughts. It's natural for your heart to beat a little faster when you've seen a fastball right at your dome. So he got himself back together before getting back in the box.
Two and one. Paul Goldschmidt says he is not a guess hitter. He takes the see the ball, hit the ball approach. Tries to keep it as simple as he can up there. Does not like to guess or outthink the opposing pitcher, even after looking at video. Doesn't want too many things running through his head. Second. Bloomquist scores from third. Another RBI for the National League leader in RBIs, number 58, and it's a 9-2 ball game. Not Wreck-It Ralph, Wreck-It Ross. Nice work. Your goalie being asked in the dugout about that first pitch. 0-1. Cody singled his last time up, 1 for 2.
Now Cody has had some much better swings, much better timing on his swings tonight, even though the only hit he has was that little floater that dropped in over the head of Marco Scudero in shallow right.
Ramon Ramirez, a member of the Giants' 2010 World Series championship team. He was picked up halfway through that year from the Red Sox. Here's another guy that was on that team. Did pretty well. Two and two. Cody Ross's 10th season in the major leagues, playing with his 7th different team. Originally a 4th-round pick by the Tigers out of high school in Carlsbad, New Mexico, where his dad was on the rodeo circuit.
You know, this incredible run that Paul Goldschmidt's been on pretty much all season. It seems like he's tying or setting a franchise record nearly every night. His 8 straight games with an RBI tonight ties the franchise record held by Luis Gonzalez.
So come out to the ballpark tomorrow for the series finale. See if Goldie can break Gonzo's record. It's full 3 and 2. Miguel Montero on deck. Diamondbacks have been out hit 10-5. They trail at 9-2, but coming back with 2 runs in this inning. Josh Wilson a pinch hit single. Willie Bloomquist a walk. They've both scored. Ball 4. Well, when you're down 9-0, you need base runners, and the Giants are cooperating. Reset your watches. It's Miggy time.
Boy, no better time to be Miggy time than right now. Love to see him touch one off right here. Cut into that lead and hopefully give him the confidence to carry on.
Nice work with that sign. He's now hit safely in 12 of his last 16 games. 0-1. Slowing everything down up there. It goes right through the 5-hole and everyone moves up.
spikes that fastball in the dirt. Posey really came up out of his crouch that time. Once again, very nearly lost his mitt. He has that catcher's mitt just hanging off the fingertips of his left hand as he tried to block that ball. Looked like his thumb actually popped out.
Wild pitch, and I tell you what now, just a little single up the middle scores 2, and suddenly it's 9-4 and still only the 6th inning. Action in the Giant bullpen. The former Red Sox reliever is up. That's Javier Lopez. Lefties coming up after Prado and Parra and Gregorius. 2-2. Iggy not thrilled with the call by Greg Gibson there. Pollock at third, Ross at second. 3-2. D-bag Nation at the sandline. Hello.
Just wanted to borrow it for a minute.
Three and two on the way from Ramon Ramirez. Popped up left-hand side, and that is drifting behind the Diamondbacks dugout. Everybody wearing their Sedona red, their D-backs gear. 44,000 plus tonight. Tremendous crowd at Chase. Diamondbacks trying to get back in it right here. Miggy! And reset those watches. Oh no, at the track. That'll get a run in. It's 9-3. He just missed it. Boy, that would have been huge.
Widely recognized that the ball just does not carry as well here at Chase. Roof closed, panels closed. Miggy looked like he thought he got enough of that when Chase's Pence all the way back to that 376 mark. Oh, that's the way we all felt.
That's a great shot. So an RBI for Montero. Cody Ross moves to third. Martin Prado with 2 down. Prado was 0 for 2. He was 0 for 3 last night. Mike and Vanessa out there, up to their antics. Not sure what's going to take place, but I'm not sure I'd want to be that guy.
It doesn't look very comfortable.
No, it doesn't. Hey, what, Ramon Ramirez is not in a hurry. Three and one. Parra and Gregorius, this next scheduled hitters. There is a lefty up and throwing, and has been for a while for Javier Lopez. Should Prado get aboard here? $44,574. D-back Nation watching their first place Diamondbacks trying to scratch their way back into this thing. 3 runs in this inning. Cody Ross 90 feet away, 3-2, 2 outs. Ball forward, pops off Posey's glove. Here comes Cody Ross, and he scores. It's 9-4. Cody coming down the line at third.
Well, it has to be a pass ball, I would think. Hit Buster Posey right in the mitt. Bounces out, didn't get far away, but Cody got a good jump. Ramirez got a bad jump off the mound.
That's a pass ball. You're right, baby.
Keep the line moving.
Cody Ross scores on a pass ball by Buster Posey. And that ends the night for Ramon Ramirez. Wreck-It Ross, another run in. Pitching change at Chase Field. Diamondbacks making some noise in the 6th. A man on, 2 outs. Our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play of the game. These 44,000 plus D-back fans here tonight.
And even one Giants fan, but we'll give him a pass because he gives the ball to a little girl. Nice going, sir.
New pitcher for the Giants, the left-handed specialist. This is Javier Lopez. Left-handed hitters are 2 for their last 20 against Lopez. Parra 1 for 2 tonight. He singled in the 3rd.
Well, you can see why left-handed hitters have had so much trouble against Lopez. That nearly sidearm delivery throws across his body. Very tough to pick up deliveries if you're standing in that left-handed batter's box. Good numbers on the season for Lopez.
He has not been charged with a run in his last 12 outings. Bruce Bochy needs him to put out the fire here. It all started with Josh Wilson's pinch hit single to lead off the 6th. Willie Bloomquist walked. Pollock doubled. Goldie RBI ground out. Cody Ross walked. Miguel Montero just missed a 3-run homer. High and deep to right. And El Prado was walked. 1-1 to Gerardo Parra. Lopez having trouble locating. It's 2-1.
You see how he's kind of steps across his body. That low sidearm delivery. Big sweeping slider that time. I mean, he's been pretty good against righties, but devastating against lefties.
Parra batting .254 against left-hand pitching this year. 3-1.
Boy, look at the D-backs grinding out at bats. Well, you see it all the time in Major League Baseball. One team gets ahead or behind by a lot of runs, and everybody's just up there whirly-bird, trying to get their numbers, trying to hit some homers.
There's plenty of time. It's only the bottom of the 6th. Ball 4. 2 on, 2 out. Didi Gregorius coming up. Third walk of this inning by Giants pitching. You're down 9-0. You need base runners. They're helping out. Didi is 0 for 2. He has twice struck out. And he has struggled against left-hand pitching this year. Now 10 for 48 versus lefties this season. Prado at second, Parra at first. 4 runs in this inning. 0-1. You see the splits, crushing righties, hanging in against lefties. He's just not able, Bob, it looks like, to throw that slider for a strike.
Well, really, to get it in the strike zone, he almost has to start it behind the left-handed hitter. If he tries to throw it in the strike zone, it's going to sweep low and away.
You're wondering about a 3-run home run here. Lopez has allowed 1 home run in 123 innings pitched in a Giants uniform. Wayne Laskin pouncing on that one in shallow right field. Tell you what, Wayne Laskin, nobody wears cargo pants like Wayne Laskin.
Man after my own heart.
Didi stays alive. 1 for 3 last night with a double. Gregorius with a 7-game hit streak, 333 during that streak. And this would be a perfect time to keep that streak going. 9th man to hit in this inning for the Diamondbacks. Just missed there. It's 2-2.
Another good grinding at bat. Didi's been very adept at this particular thing, falling behind in the count, eventually trying to get it back to full. Fouling off borderline pitches, taking pitches out of the zone.
You know what? Of all the hitters in the lineup every day, Bob, and we've talked so often about how Paul Goldschmidt does this, even if he's down 0-2, he grinds and he battles and he spits on the close ones and he fouls and spoils off the good ones. Didi might be right behind him in the ability to just keep the at-bat alive and just hang in there on life support and get back in it and then get a good pitch to hit.
Yeah, give that pitcher more opportunities to make a mistake, foul off the tough ones, and hope that he hangs one.
Got him. Diamondbacks strand 2, but they get 4 runs in the inning. We're through 6. It's 9-4 San Francisco.
has them now 5 runs down of the San Francisco Giants. It has been an incredible 48 hours in the life of this young man right here, Jamie Westbrook, a senior at Basha High School. And take me back to yesterday. You get a very important phone call. The Diamondbacks take you in the 5th round.
Yeah, yesterday my advisor was like, hey, the D-backs are probably going to take you in the 6th. So I was looking for 6th round on the computer screen at home, and then 5th round came up and said D-backs Jamie Westbrook. And once I heard my name, I ran out of the house screaming, and it was just overflow of emotion. So it was a great day.
You had committed to play baseball in college at Pepperdine, and it sounds like you're going to sign with the D-backs. What happens after that?
After that, I'll be doing rookie league right up at Salt River Field, so I'll be close to home, and that starts my professional career. So excited.
And your parents are here, Tony and Jen. That must have been an incredibly emotional experience for them yesterday as well.
Right. We had many family hugs and tears and jumping for joy, and it's just been a great 48 hours with all my family here. So
yeah, fast forward till today, you get a chance to come in, take some grounders out there, and then you get a chance to get in the cage with the Diamondbacks. Tell me what that experience was like.
It was awesome. You know, I thought I was going to be really nervous, but all the guys made me feel really at home and comfortable and treated me like a big leaguer today. So it was an awesome experience, and I could only hope to be up here in a couple years, you know.
And you did in BP what Hunter Pence just did, and that's take one out of the yard. You know, it was interesting. We saw you talking to Groove, Don Baylor, obviously one of the greatest hitting instructors of all time. What was his advice to you? Because right after he talked to you, you went yard.
Yeah, he saw that I was pressing a little bit, you know, trying to hit the ball too far and show off a little bit. You know, it's just natural. And he said, you know, it's hard to hit if you don't breathe. So he just told me to relax, and I got in there, and sure enough, it worked. So he knows what he's talking about.
And final question, what was the best moment of the last 48 hours for you?
Probably the relief, seeing that all your hard work has paid off, and I haven't made it yet. You know, I'm not in the big leagues, but just seeing the look on my parents' faces and all my family, and knowing that I'll be able to stay here and be a hometown kid. So it's just all been awesome.
Well, Tony and Jen, you guys have done a great job. He's got a good head on his shoulders and a great future. Congratulations and best of luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
All right, guys, we'll send it back to you.
Okay, Brad, thanks. Congratulations, everybody. He's down there watching the young man behind the cage take some hacks from the right-hand side of the box. Giants greeting Will Harris a bit rudely here. Hunter Pence, his 10th home run this year. 9 of those homers have been solo shots, and now Brandon Belt has a single against the new pitcher, Will Harris. Will worked in 3 of the D-backs' 4 games in St. Louis. Up until the Pence home run, he had been unscored upon in his previous 7 appearances. He's really pitched well lately. Last 6 1/3, only 3 hits with a walk and 7 strikeouts. But so far, a home run to Pence and a single by Belt. And now Andres Torres is in, ahead 1-0. Torres walked and scored in the 2nd, sac fly RBI in the 4th. That one is lifted in the air to right. Here comes Gerardo Parra. And he talks it down. There's that close play. Belt is back in time. Mentioned the draft, Bob. The Diamondbacks were thrilled. They got a couple of really good pitchers with their first 2 picks this week. Braden Shipley, who for whatever reason was sort of fell to them, if you want to use that word. He was anticipated to be a top 10 pick, the pitcher from Nevada. And big Aaron Blair out of Marshall, the Thundering Herd.
6'4", 220, Aaron Blair out of Marshall, West Virginia. I wonder if Ken Kendrick had anything to do with that.
I'm not sure, because he's a big WVU guy.
Yeah,
I think that's a big rivalry, but you can never have too much pitching, as we found out this week with the news on Daniel Hudson. Brandon Crawford's had a good night. An RBI double in the 2nd, singled and scored in the 4th. And the reports on both the pitchers that the D-backs got with those first 2 picks, really good. And the kid they got that we had there with their 3rd pick, huge upside, tremendous natural ability. And he had committed to go to LSU to play baseball, which is where Will Harris played, and Aaron Hill for that matter. Justin Williams, yeah, he's great reports on him. Tons of raw tools. Scout, draft, develop. That's the key to sustained success. Crawford, his 3rd hit tonight. Belt stops at 2nd.
One of the guys that the Diamondbacks drafted with the 1,170th pick. I'll volunteer to go scout guys that play at this high school, Maui High School. Mark Caraviatis.
BB, we're going to need you to go to Maui and take a look at this kid.
Yeah, I'll be back in a couple of months. I want to get a really good look at him.
Team president and CEO Derek Hall. Why don't you call Derek? Just text him, see if he can go to Hawaii. KT, give KT a break. He's been running all over the country. Going to have a pinch hitter here for the pitcher's spot. And this is Tony Abreu, the former Diamondback. 81 games with Arizona in 2010, hit .233. Reinstated from the 60-day DL just before the game, taking the place of Nick Noonan, who was here last night but was sent down to AAA Fresno after the game. Tony Abreu spent the whole season injured with a left knee sprain. Batted over 300 in 2 separate rehab assignments in AAA. First, Paul Goldschmidt will take it himself. 2 outs. Everyone moves up 90 feet.
Well, Will Harris in full damage control mode right here. If he can get out of this inning with only 1 run allowed, that'd be pretty good. The leadoff homer by Hunter Pence.
Gregor Blanco has a pair of doubles. His double in the 4th was an RBI, also scored a run. He's 2 for 4. On a play, let's check the form here of Dave Abdu. He's had a busy night down there at the left field line.
Yeah, Dave going with the white cargo pants.
Yeah, not a lot of guys can pull that off. The Goldie jerseys are everywhere on men and boys. Two doubles, 2 strikeouts tonight for Gregor Blanco, making just his 14th start this season in center field. Giants finally put Angel Pagan on the DL with that left hamstring strain. He'd been held out for 13 days, hadn't played since May 25th. Belt the runner at third, Crawford at second. Rally cap after that last inning. Don't change it yet. Lots of time here. Now that's a hat, baby. I'm surprised you don't have that hat.
Ew, that was big league.
Looks like a character in Apocalypto with that hat on. Jaguar paw. 3-2 to Blanco. Marco Scutaro on deck. Ball 4, bases loaded. Diamondbacks bullpen is quiet, so this is Will Harris's inning, sink or swim.
Second baseman,
Will from Slidell, Louisiana, went to LSU. 9th round pick by the Rockies in '06. Waved by Colorado, picked up by the A's, waved by the A's. Diamondbacks grabbed him, and he's really pitched pretty well as of late, as we mentioned. Hadn't given up a run in his previous 7 outings. I was talking to him on the road trip. I said, it's all 4-seam and curveball, right? And he said, yep. He's like, I threw one changeup all year.
And his fastball has some natural cutting action away from a right-handed hitter, and that 12-6 curveball. In past outings, he's managed to keep the pitches down in the zone a little better than he has so far tonight.
Marco Scudero, RBI single and scored in the 4th, walked his last time up. Giants game, or Giants the series here, beginning their longest road stretch of the season. They're on the road for 9 games. After this, they go to Pittsburgh and then Atlanta. Will Harris ahead 0-2. Missed inside there, 2-2. Belt at third, Crawford at second, Blanco the runner at first. To third, Martin Prado. Will Harris strands the bases loaded, but the Giants get a run. Bottom 7 on the way. It's 10-4. Good buddy. New pitcher for the Giants is the reliever Gene Machi. And we asked you earlier our AT&T Twitter poll question, who will win the Stanley Cup? And 43% of you are absolutely correct. Shane Doan and the Boston Bruins. Welcome to the booth.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
We wish you were still playing, but we're glad you're here.
I wish I was still playing too, but obviously if you have to be somewhere, we're going to a ball game. It's not bad.
Yeah. What about that? Because BB is, has the Chicago ties, and he's completely wrong about the Blackhawks. And the Bruins with Tuukka Rask have been tremendous. What do you think about a potential Stanley Cup final?
You know what? I was pretty adamant that it was going to be Chicago. I thought they had the team to beat, and I thought Pittsburgh would obviously had a great team. But you watch what Boston did to Pittsburgh, and it's hard to pick against Boston. They mowed through Pittsburgh, and they're good.
It's not that hard.
The hot goaltender, Tuukka Rask. I said Tuukka Rask. He said, "What's a Tuukka Rask?"
They have salves that'll cure that.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to have Eric Kinski lead it off for the Diamondbacks in the 7th inning against Gene Machi, the Giants pitcher. Recalled from AAA Fresno in the middle of May. This is his second appearance with the Giants this year. Tony Abreu, by the way, has remained in the game. He's taken over at second base for Marco Scutaro.
Oh, Shane, we know you're a Diamondbacks fan now. You got your Sedona Red shirt on here tonight. But growing up, did you have a team that you rooted for? I know you were busy playing a lot of hockey, but did you have a baseball team?
I was sold out Blue Jays fan.
Oh,
I was. And you played 5 games for the Blue Jays.
Nice. How about that,
something like that. Something around there, I was told.
See, that's a fan.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a fan.
I love the Blue Jays. Everybody in Canada pretty much knows where you were at when Joe Carter hit that home run.
You must have been thrilled when they went back to that classic uniform that they got rid of those awful denim colored things they wore, and they go back to the classic Blue Jay with that white lettering. It looks great.
It does. It really does. I wish they were playing a little bit more like the classic Blue Jays of the 91-92, but hey.
Yeah, it's interesting. There are a lot of parallels there with the Blue Jays and the Dodgers in the NL West. As you bring all these big names in, you spend all this money, make all these deals, and for whatever reason, it doesn't work out.
Yeah, their pitching's been taking a beating with a couple injuries.
Eric Kinski strikes out, 1 down. So now what's the plan for the summer?
We'll be here to the end of June. My boy is playing hockey. When I get to be a hockey dad, follow him around for a little bit. But you got to quit at some point. I'm done. I've been done for a month and a half, and he's still playing.
Is that a travel team?
Yeah, he's playing with the team out of BC, and he's having some fun.
Willie Bloomquist 0 for 2. Walked and scored his last time up. If you had to summarize the season, I know with everything that went on in this weird hockey season, what would you say?
I wish it was a little longer. I think that we had the ability to be better. We rely so much on our system play and our coaches that it takes us usually 45 to 50 games just to kind of get into the rhythm of it, and we weren't quite there yet.
Well, I'm a season ticket holder, and I got to tell you, I know the season didn't go the way you hoped it would for a lot of different reasons, but it was tremendously exciting to go out there and watch games. You guys, you were fun to watch.
Well, it's fun to play, and we wish we were in it right to the end, which obviously is exciting, but we have some good young players that we're really excited about, and we're looking forward to the future.
Well, when I heard you were going to be here tonight, I thought maybe we would have a homeowners association meeting. We used to live in the same neighborhood for a long time.
Josh still comes to your guys' house for Halloween. So.
What do the Brenleys give out on Halloween?
They give out some good. They give out some good candy.
That's the good house to go to.
They know the house in the cul-de-sac when they're getting up there. Josh, my 4 kids, they get up there and. Look forward to getting some. They get the big bars from the Brenleys. You get the big bars, not the little tiny ones. The big bars.
I thought Joan would be the one out there handing out apples and oranges and stuff.
Toothbrushes.
Yeah, the kids enjoyed. Bob was obviously the man of the neighborhood. Everyone knew where he was at, and you guys won the World Series while we were there. That was pretty special.
Donor, we got 44,000 here tonight to watch this first-place baseball team, and we know about the great season that the Coyotes had last year. What do you think about the Valley as a sports market, not just for the Coyotes and the D-backs, but for everybody?
I've told a few people that since I came to the Valley, it's been about, well, it's been a long time, 17 years. And I think that it's starting to get a generation that has moved here in the last, at the beginning of the 90s, that are really starting to get kind of behind their local team, and the team that my boy grew up being a Diamondbacks fan and a Cardinals fan and a Suns fan and a Coyotes fan. And I think that's important for the sports, and everybody's starting to, I mean, for me personally, I'm starting to see it more and more, and I'm excited about it.
2-2 to Willie Bloomquist.
And you bring up a great point. That's what it takes, is generations of fans, just handing that mantle on to the next generation, giving it to your kids, they give it to their kids. And obviously a lot of cities in hockey and baseball have had a huge head start, so we're playing catch up a little bit.
No doubt about it, and the more you win, the quicker that happens. And obviously with the Diamondbacks winning the World Series and being the only organization in the Valley to have the major win, it gave them such a huge step.
Willie drives it to Hunter Benson, right?
What a game Hunter Pence has had. He's played the game. He plays the game kind of just looks like an old school player. Hey?
Mention him on skates. Holy cow.
I've heard some good stories about him, and he's a guy that you want to watch from his teammates and stuff, and it's pretty interesting.
He's quite the character. Who are some characters in the NHL?
Paul Bissonnette for us is, everyone asks about Biz, and he has ability to, he's entertaining, man. He's one of those guys that you have to have in the clubhouse that everybody enjoys. Keith Yandel he's got a great personality for the room too.
A.J. Pollock on the ground, the third. Arias is there. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Gene Michie. Shane Doan, thanks for joining us, man.
Guys, thanks so much for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
Great to see you, Don.
Thanks, Bob. Really appreciate it.
This weekend, the D-backs hit the road again, but when they come back, come out to Chase Field and watch them take on the Miami Marlins starting June 17th, and you can get tickets. How about this? For $9.
Are you kidding?
No, I would never kid you about that. $9 with value concessions every game. Log on now to dbacks.com/tickets and come on out and join us at Chase Field for $9. 44,000 people did tonight.
You can go through your sofa cushions and find $9. Can't beat that.
David Hernandez out to start the 8th inning for the Diamondbacks. David last worked Tuesday in St. Louis, allowed 1 hit in 1 2/3, and he's pitched really well lately. Hernandez has given up a run in just 1 of his previous 12 appearances, a .71 ERA over that span with a save and 3 holds. 9 hits over his last 12 2/3 with 14 strikeouts. And he's ahead here, 0-2. Buster Posey, RBI single his last time up, 2-run home run in the 4th. He's 2 for 3. He's driven in 3 after going 0 for 4 last night. Paul Goldschmidt was asked recently, who's your favorite opposing player to watch hit? And his answer was Buster Posey. Goldie said that the way Posey goes about not just his hitting but his entire game, the way he prepares and goes about his business, Goldie says really fun to watch. Skied out there to center field, A.J. Pollock, and that's the first out. And Brad, as I always say, relievers are people too.
You know, as you guys well know, the D-backs bullpen is a collection of unique personalities. So many times we focus on the starting rotation and the closer, but you know, the guys that do the middle work, the David Hernandez, Josh Comenter, Tony Sipp, all those guys, yes, they are people too. And so they have a T-shirt made that's, there it is right there, relievers are people too. I think it was David Hernandez was one of the guys that really got this going, and he tweets, and he'll tweet things out every once in a while with a hashtag relievers are people too, and I think they are, but I think they need some love every once in a while. And you know, Josh Comenter was on the post-game show during that last road trip, so we give them some love every once in a while.
Tell you what, they've been really good lately. Remember the crisis and everyone, BB, was freaking out. Oh, it's another blown save. What are we going to do? It's over. They've really settled in, even without J.J. Putz.
It was ugly early. There's no question about that. But I attribute a lot of that to the fact that relief pitchers, they like to get into a rhythm. They want to throw. You know, maybe not every day for a week, but they like to get into a rhythm where they're throwing 2 days, off a day, throw 3 days, off 2 days. And you just can't really simulate that in spring training. And I just think they weren't ready to hit their stride when the season started. But as they started to get more appearances, more innings, more pitches thrown, they really settled into those roles and have done a nice job. You know, it's so tough to get relief pitchers work in spring training against big league hitters.
Oh, yeah.
You know, your closer, that's why a lot of teams in spring training bring their closer in immediately after the starter, whether that's the 3rd, 4th, 5th inning, because you want to get guys some reps against big league hitters. And if you wait until the 8th and 9th inning, they're going to be facing a bunch of guys that start the season in Double-A.
Scruffy McScrufferson.
He's pretty good, though.
Arias is thrown out. Ram trucks, tools of the trade, and Hunter Pence has had everything. He's had speed and power. He's a perfect 12 for 12 in stolen bases this year. We watched him steal second and then steal third and then come in on that Miguel Montero throwing error and then that.
You know, I don't know whether it's the socks, but it looks like his feet move faster than any player on the field.
The socks probably help. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 1st, stole 2 bases and scored, doubled and scored in the 4th. Solo homer to lead off the last inning.
I've said it before about Hunter Pence. You need to organize a posse and find the rustlers that stole his calves. Skinny little legs down there from the knees down, but as you mentioned, he is rock solid between the shoulders and the knees. Really put together well.
Well, he showed up. We talked about that caveman diet he was on. He showed up to Giants camp in Scottsdale this spring with 6.5% body fat. And he's like one of those tennis players if you watch him in batting practice. If you stand near the cage, that's something you can really hear from the seats, but if you stand behind the cage, you know how those female tennis players will make those noises every time they hit the ball? Pence just grunts every time. You can hear just the physical force with which he swings every time. And Miguel Montero feeling it there.
Yeah. No question, he's a maximum effort guy. Yeah, some guys go out on the field and everything looks very natural and fluid. He works hard.
Paul Goldschmidt ends the 8th. It's 10-4 Diamondbacks coming up. Express Bus. It's brought to you by Cox Communications and Fry's Food Stores, and it will take you and all your friends in your D-backs gear to a D-backs game. You can stop by this month's participating Fry's store in Tucson or Cox retail store in Surprise, and you can enter to win 2 seats on the Fan Express Bus for D-backs games on either June 23rd or July 14th. So get the posse together and come on down. Meanwhile, maybe that card game is still going down there on Aaron Hill Bicycle Bobblehead Night. Another hand.
Got any 9s?
What is going on there? Oh, is that? I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. Well, we're glad they're here.
Here's Goldie. Right to Abreu at second. One away. No better time than now to tell you that Paul Goldschmidt is our APS Energy All-Star, an RBI in 8 straight games, tying Gonzo's D-backs record. So Gonzo's had a tough week. First, he flies to Texas to fill in for 1 game for you. And we get essentially a monsoon hurricane. The game is banged. He flies back. And now his record is tied.
Yeah, but he got some frequent flyer miles. He's got that going for him. Well, the amazing thing about Goldie, I mean, obviously he hits home runs and gets RBIs. He gets base hits and gets RBIs. Occasionally he'll make outs and get RBIs. Just has that knack. Run producers that have the knack when guys are on second or third base, just find a way to get them on the dish.
Cody Ross walked and scored his last time up. Singled in the 4th. He's 1 for 2. 13 hits for the Giants, 5 for the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks had won 5 of 7. Began the day leading the NL West by 2.5 over the Rockies and 3.5 ahead of these Giants. Colorado lost to the Padres at Coors Field today. So the Rockies have lost. The Giants with a 6-run lead right here. And that's the way it's going to go in the NL West. Neck and neck and neck. Cody strikes out, 2 down. Miguel Montero just missed a home run his last time up. Hit it really high and deep to right field, and Hunter Pence caught it with his back to the wall in front of the pool. But Miggy had a single in the fourth. He had the RBI in the sac fly, so he's 1 for 2 with an RBI. Great job by Diamondbacks fans. 37,000 last night, 44,000 here today. One more game against the Giants tomorrow. Bark in the Park Day. And did you decide on the dog that your dog's sitting?
Well, I whispered to the dog today, and the dog whispered back that he would prefer to stay home and watch us on television.
Well, I can understand that, sure, because sometimes only dogs can hear us. Yeah, they eating some leftover Halloween candy, the dog?
Oh, there was none left. Doan's kids kept going around the corner and coming back again.
Changing costumes on you?
Yeah. If I did bring the dog, he'd have to be up here in the booth with us all day.
Well, that's the whole idea, BB. It's a bark in the park. You're in sharing the communal canine experience. Or something like that.
Yeah.
Drives it to center. Blanco on the run. He won't get there. Drops it over the wall. Miguel Montero has his 7th double, and he's 2 for 3. Just missed a home run, and now drives it to the gap in left center.
This is the kind of game you can build on if you're Miguel Montero. He did strike out his first plate appearance in the game, but then a single, that drive toward the pool in right center field that Hunter Pence ran down for a sacrifice RBI, and now an opposite field ground rule double.
Martin Prado walked his last time up, 0 for 2 tonight. That's the Diamondbacks' 6th hit. 2 of them by Montero.
Apparently they've been to a Mumford & Sons concert recently.
I used to love Mumford & Sons, that show. Fred Mumford, his friend Grady. Aunt Esther. Lamont, Julio. Remember Mumford & Sons?
It's a big one, Elizabeth.
I know it's Sanford & Sons. It's 10-4. I'm coming to join you. Hanging in at Chase.
They're just getting a little rest before that big 9th inning rally.
Focused.
Voting for Paul Goldschmidt for the All-Star game.
Three 3-0 on the way. Three and two now. Since Eric Chavez has been injured, probably the first time all year that Martin Prado has essentially been written into the same spot in the lineup, or on the field, I should say. Every day at third base now. Although Eric Kinski does take infield at third every day. I've been waiting for the debut of that. Just in case. Machie. That's the inning. Diamondbacks get a double by Miguel Montero. They strand one. Ninth inning coming up. Series finale coming up. Don't forget, Bark in the Park at Chase Field tomorrow. Bring the mutt. And on a weekend during which he's dog sitting, Bob Brenly apparently will not yield to peer pressure. The dog will stay home.
I tried to convince the dog that this was the place to be tomorrow, but this doesn't want to miss a game on the tube.
He just stares at the TV like that old RCA Victor record label.
A lot like that, yeah.
No one under the age of 100 knows what I just said. Tony Sipp, he has worked in 3 games of the 4-game series the Diamondbacks played in St. Louis. He's been unscored upon in 7 of his last 8 appearances. So he's been busy all week.
Well, Kirk Gibson's been able to ham and egg this together pretty well after Trevor Cahill got banged around early, had to come out of the game in the 4th inning. Once again, Josh Coleman, even though it was only 2 1/3 tonight, does his job, eats up enough innings that he can use the rest of the bullpen in an orderly fashion.
Brandon Belt 2 for 4, couple of singles, he scored a run. Diamondbacks fans have done a great job with these signs tonight. A lot of originality, a lot of artwork, creativity. Oh, 2. Getting along just fine. Civility, we like that.
That's the way it's supposed to be. The competition is on the field. You've got ball players down there with a lot at stake, can go out there and do battle against each other, and at the end of the day go home. I hope the fans can do the same. Come out and root for your team, but leave it at the ballpark. Stop it.
Brandon Belt. 3 for 5, 3 singles. She put the sign down at the wrong time.
Should I show it again? That's what she was asking the girl next to her. Should I hold it up again?
Andres Torres walked and scored in the 2nd. Sac fly RBI, that big 6-run 4th inning. Giants 2 in the 2nd, 6 in the 4th, 1 in the 6th and 7th. 10-14-0. 4-6-1 for the Diamondbacks. to center field. A.J. Pollock gets comfortable. Brandon Belt back to first. Look at this. Voting is a family affair, Bob.
Yeah, I like it.
All the way down the row, cranking out those ballots. Giants fans can do it. Look at that. They got a whole stack of them. This is nice work. It's completely unethical, but it's great.
Well, you know, they're punching each one individually by hand. That, you know, following the rules.
They got a whole assembly line going. Every one of them's got a stack on their lap.
D-backs fans have to work a little bit harder. You know, we're at an extreme disadvantage. You look at the Giants, they're averaging over 40,000 fans per game.
Well, it's all those people hanging around. They got nothing to do. Diamondbacks fans are working hard. I mean, look at the work ethic. Look at the want right here. This is want. And we have the ballots to prove it. Brandon Crawford, 3 for 4. I mean, they got to have. Look, they're just take one, punch it, pass it down. It looks like she's knitting. There's the guy. Look. Gets through Willie Bloomquist. Crawford with his 4th hit tonight. Belt stops at second. So Belt has 3 hits. Brandon Crawford is 4 for 5.
Yeah, the 4 hits for Crawford, a career high. He's been struggling lately, as you mentioned. Found his way down in that 8th spot in the lineup tonight, but has responded in a big way.
Did you see him look up for the replay? Because they're so focused on the ballots, they didn't see the base hit, so they all stopped and stared up, looking at the scoreboard for what happened, and then they go right back to business. Look at her. She's just
game face.
That's absolutely right. Get him in there. All-Star game at Citi Field. Vote D-backs. The guy, look at that stack of ballots right there. Now, he's the collector, the guy on the end. He sort of organizes and coordinates.
He's the supervisor.
Yep, yeah. There's always one. If I'm counting here. Okay, that's 7, 10, 8. Yep. Another stack. Trying to get Goldie to start at first. 15 hits now for the Giants. Tony Abreu. Let's update the voting. Top 3 leaders. I mean, we need 600,000 votes. So I think we should go down and. You know what? Can we? I tell you what. Are we allowed, BB, to give them a contract, an honorary contract, so they can get?
Absolutely.
Let's give those guys. I know this is a little, we're going off the map here, but let's give them a contract if we can, so they can get 4 tickets to a D-backs game. And some D-bucks to spend in the team store for their effort. I mean, these guys are dedicated.
They've earned it tonight.
So now who do I talk to about making that happen?
Where'd Derek go?
Oh, they're waving to me downstairs. All right. Thumbs up. Is that it right? Is that all right? All right, 2 thumbs up from the booth. Abreu in the air to right. Gerardo Parra. 2 down. Because that kind of effort and dedication has to be rewarded somehow. I mean, they are locked in.
Center fielder Gregor Blanco.
Look, don't screw it up. I got a system. Tell you what, D-back Nation can bring the want. The guy on the end is really, he's got his keys. Look, he's punching it out with the keys. Yep. Get rid of those hanging chads.
No hanging chads, please.
We don't want any of that. Do they count these ballots in Florida? Gregor Blanco. Pair of doubles tonight. He's got an RBI score to run. I'm glad we got the approval from Rob down there. The big thumbs up for the contract. A little worried about that. I think I might have overstepped my bounds. Didn't get clearance.
Look at that. This is just so wrong.
Pick up the pace. Let's go. Let's go.
He's got to have, I don't know how many hundred of ballots right there. It's just, he's counting them.
Well, if they stay here every day, 24 hours a day between now and the middle of July, Goldie will definitely be on that All-Star team.
Uh-oh, the phone's blowing up. This was inevitable. Diamondback diehards. Nice work. See, she held the sign up at the right time. All right, is that a keeper? Oh, funny text. Blanco strikes out looking. Giants get 2 hits. They strand to bottom 9. Still time to punch some ballots at Chase Field. Bottom 9, Giants lead the Diamondbacks 10-4. Getting a lot of response, BB, about on the Twitter. The voters have packed it in. They carried all their ballots out of here. But some people were tweeting, "Hey, go easy on the ballot punchers. They're trying to help." I gave them a contract, man. That's tremendous. The dedication, the discipline it took to do that. The assembly line, they had a whole system, and as soon as that top of the 9th inning ended, they all got up. And they all had a stack of ballots all punched for Diamondbacks. Cliff Pennington leads off the 9th against Jose Mijares. Jose Mijares unscored upon in 16 of his 20 games this year. Well, Pennington leads it off. So a pinch hit single for Pennington. Leadoff man on.
Very good to see Cliff get a base hit from the right side of the plate. He's been swinging it really well from the left side recently, hitting .281. Only .128 from the right side before that base hit into center field.
So Pennington hit for Parra. Will Nieves will hit for Gregorius here. Pennington has now hit safely in 7 of his last 8 games. Nieves swings and misses 0-1. Will has become an effective pinch hitter this year. 3 for 7 as a bat off the bench with 3 RBIs. 413 on the year. Now this is what ballot box stuffing looks like when you're finally done in the bottom of the ninth. They're back. The ballots have been punched and cast and submitted. And we got 4 seats to a D-backs game on the way with a Kai. In fact, there it is. There's Rob. Okay, we're getting them the contract. Nice work. Great job, Diamondbacks fans. So the next D-backs game is on us.
The rest of the family wearing D-backs gear. We give mom a jersey or something.
Look, there's Rob's explaining. Oh, all right, cool. I didn't know Terry Francona was such a big Diamondbacks fan.
Indians aren't playing tonight. Oh, they were done earlier today in Detroit.
Tito flew out. Well, Tito lives in Tucson. He's a big Air, of course, University of Arizona Wildcat. So. Those fans for their effort, rewarded with some Diamondback seats. Great job. And Nieva strikes out, 1 down in the bottom of the ninth. All right. Thank you, fans. There's the contract. Look at Donors in on the act now. He and Todd are filling out the ballots. It's right there at the bottom. Okay, got it.
Writing in Gerardo Parra.
He's reading the fine print of the contract. Jason Kubel. Jason's got a 5-game hitting streak. 318 over his last 5 games with 5 RBIs.
Very proud of themselves, as they should be. Nice going, fans.
Oh, we haven't given out, we've been on the road forever, so we haven't given out a contract in a while. Those card guys are finally done. The Teddy KGB down there. The Rounders. Aaron Hill bicycle bobblehead night. Handed out 20,000 of these to the 44,000 plus who checked in at Chase Field to watch their first place Diamondbacks. Kubel strikes out, 2 down. There's the real deal. Willie Bloomquist walked and scored in the 6th. He's 0 for 3. Willie to center. Blanco chasing after it. It gets down. Pennington coming around. Bloomquist stops at second. He's got an RBI double, and the lead is cut in half. It's 10-5. BB will 1 more run away.
We've got something to play for. 1 more well-placed base hit by A.J. Pollock, and we're looking at tacos.
3rd double for Willie Bloomquist. His 3rd RBI. That was well hit. A.J. Pollock, RBI double and scored in the 6th. At 3rd, and that's the ball game.
Diamondbacks lose game 2 here, 10-5. Rubber game coming up tomorrow at Chase Field on Bark in the Park. So the Diamondbacks lose, the Rockies lose, the Giants win. The NL West gets a little bit tighter, and get used to that.
Yeah, I think this is the way it's going to be. We talked about it during the course of the telecast. All these teams have their warts, but they've all got their strengths too. This is going to be a battle all season long.
Well, let's see if Todd Walsh and Shane Doan are done punching their ballots. Hopefully Doan can just keep punching away while Todd is talking. Guys, how's it going out there?
Well, Shane, you've got 522,000 to catch up for